Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. I'm the best guy ever, and we've got the boys. We've got Tom Oliver.
I am here to be on this podcast, but my audio sounds like shit. So I'm going to listen to like 60 to 70% of this podcast. It's going to be fun. I'm doing podcasts on hard mode today. I'm on New Game Plus. And I have all my extra buffs, but I also have new challenges I've never faced before. It's going to be an interesting experience.
Well, that's great to hear. We've got Hypocrite here.
I think Pokemon Let's Go might literally be my favorite Pokemon game, and I haven't even played it yet.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh, he hasn't played it. Well, okay. I'm
glad someone else besides
Ben
me
Saint
enjoys it.
He's angry.
What? Shut up.
There he goes. And Endless Jess.
It's me, it's Enlit G. I'm on the web because I am not free. Help me out if you are so kind. Patreon, come feed the swine.
Collab with Lady Gaga.
I can't resist a catchy jingle.
Oh my god, it's another episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast, and here we are today to talk about
Who are you? Did you introduce yourself?
What?
Did you introduce yourself?
Well,
You did.
I said my name.
Oh.
I suppose that's enough. My reputation precedes me.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
All right, I have
a bunch. You know him well. Finally back from the gates of hell. That's me.
Yeah. I have a thing to kickstart this conversation. It's not about Pokemon Let's Go. It is in November.
If only you had a thing to kickstart my car. Wait. I was thinking, what's that thing?
Good
when you have a
job. Very
motorcycle?
fucking good.
Crowdfunding.
It's a kick. I was thinking a kickstand. Like I have a motorcycle, it falls over.
No. You failed. You fell flat on your face with
sorry.
that one.
There were so many ways you could have gone with it, and you chose the only one that failed.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
All right. In November, for no reason, I went on a trip to 2 cities in Europe. Here's my story about it. I kind of wanted Munchie to be here because I knew he would have things to say, such as "Oh, good." So I wanted to hear him say those things.
And wow.
Yeah. But yeah, there's basically it was the first time I had traveled alone to another country for no particular reason. Like, I've traveled alone before to BronyCon.
For no good reason.
For no good... Well, it was a good reason, because I have reasons. But usually there's, like, somebody there waiting to meet me, or, like, it's RadCon, so, like, there's lots of things I don't have to worry about. Like, I can't drive in America, or at all. So, like, I don't have to worry about driving around when I go to RadCon and various other things.
Yeah.
And... it was so stressful, like, leading up to going. And it's because it's like, it's a different kind of feeling where if I just decide to call it off, nobody would be mad necessarily. I'm not, like, nobody is, relying on me to be somewhere for something. I can just not go if I want to. And that is, really, It tugged on me because, like, I'm scared of traveling. I don't like it. It makes me wet my pants. The idea that I might leave my toothbrush on the plane or something strange, and I'm like, oh no, my passport I dropped down the drain and I can't speak to the locals to ask them to help me get it out because they don't understand me. Like various things like that. And I was like, oh no, everything's gonna go wrong and I'm gonna be stranded. And I could have called it off, but I ended up going, and it was cool.
So it would have been easier if you had some kind of obligation.
Yeah,
it would have been easier if there were someone that you had, like, promised this to, or something you had to do. But because it was just a thing you wanted, it was a thing you wanted to do, and yet the fact that it was only your want to do it and nothing else made you like, I gave you anxiety, like, I don't have to do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah,
I totally relate to that.
That's why nobody follows their dreams, ever. And nobody should.
Yeah.
Well, it was, I mean, I ended up doing it, and it was very anxiety-ridden in the first bit. But the reason I wanted to do it was various reasons. One, to see a bit of Europe before it gets locked off from Brexit,
Sunk
and
into the ocean.
we get like a big old fence, a big old wall around the entire coast of the UK. We can't leave.
I'm pretty jealous
Also,
that
to play
as we're
Pokemon
in
Go,
Trump's
haha,
America,
get
we
some
don't get
fucking...
the wall, but you guys do. Very,
Yeah.
very offended.
We get I was gonna get like a Spanish Mr. Mime and a German Mr. Mime. I call them
Hadrian's Wall?
Hadrian's Wall. That's a Roman thing.
It's like 2 feet high. Isn't that the wall that like sort of goes across like the middle of England?
It was supposed to keep the Scots out, I think.
Yeah.
It's the Romans built it, and it was kind of small, and there's only a little bit left. It's tiny
funny.
little wall.
Hadrian's Wall makes me giggle. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's fine. It's cool. I expect it, and I feel bad when I don't get interrupted. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, good.
So I got like, haha, cool Pokemon. I got some exclusive Mr. Mimes, some bourgeoisie like special Mr. Mimes. I got Senor Mime and I got Hair Mime, and they're gonna be like, Munchie was saying, oh, I'm gonna go give all of my Italian Mr. Mimes over, and then Hippo's not gonna have any spending power in America, and it's like, no, I've got special. I'm gonna go to France as well. I'm gonna get a legit like French Mr. Mime as well.
Oh,
Bitch,
hell yeah.
I'm gonna have all the Pokemon. So like that was one of the reasons I went, and then also just to be more self-reliant and to be more independent. The ability, like going to another country, is fucking terrifying. Where they don't speak the language specifically, and it's like, if you don't do anything, you're gonna die because you need to eat. So you gotta do stuff every day.
A lot of people speak English though in all like major metropolitan areas of
all right. Here's the thing.
World.
In Hamburg, yes, because Germans don't have another nation that speaks German. The German is just their thing. So like they understand that if they want to speak to anyone else, they better speak English because that's pretty popular. But in Spain, nobody speaks English. Everybody is like they don't even have like a phrase to say, "Do you speak English?" Like they don't know how to say that. They just keep speaking Spanish to me, and I'm like, I point, and then they point and they say something, and I'm like, I don't know whether you were saying yes or no, or it was scary. Madrid was scary. I went to Madrid, but it's also cool.
I have anxiety about doing anything. And travel is a big thing that takes a lot of time. So if I have to do some of it, it's coming up. I'm like, what a commitment I have to make. Oh God, But I'm not afraid of losing anything, or I don't know. I've found that like if you have money, nothing can go wrong. If you
I was going to say, the only thing I was afraid of losing when I was in Japan was my, like, stack of, traveler's checks or whatever, that, was my money. If
you have, let's say, $1,000 in, like, liquid assets that are available to you, nothing can hurt you, and everything...
pretty much invincible.
Will be... Yeah.
I had a similar epiphany. I realized that the true meaning of life, the ultimate secret to having a life that isn't like too much of a disaster, is just have $10,000 at all times. No matter how much money you make sure that you always have a safety net of $10,000, and that is your if anything goes wrong money. And that's it. That's all you need.
I could not be more with you. I pretty much, that's exactly how I think. 100%.
My number is 500.
Mine actually, because that's how
much I need to live another month.
I was saving up like my whole thing about like when I'll go for full-time YouTube was like I put a number at 20 grand. When I had 20 grand, at that point I'm willing to take the chance and do stuff. And I technically have that now, but it's like tax stuff. That's
and I'm not saying
not
like
really.
Everybody has $10,000 lying around. I'm saying that's the goal that you need to get to. And once you get there, you're fine. Like
right, I'm with you.
I'm
recently
saying, like,
why do all
year,
these idiots not have $10,000?
This year, I accomplished my lifelong dream of like seeing that number in my bank account, 10,000.
Fantastic.
It was during it took me literally 29 years. So I'm not saying it's easy, but I had 10K in the bank. I had the however many digits that is. I'm so poor I don't even know how many digits are in 10,000.
5 digits. Not counting after
and
the
seeing
decimal.
that, I bought a car, so I don't have it anymore. But it was good.
Shit.
And so now I know that's what
It was good
need
while it
in
lasted.
life. Yeah.
That's a great goal. Everybody should have a big safety net. And I mean, everybody should, when they're young, be thinking about like, okay, well, when I retire, I'm not going to be able to work. So I got to like save up money for that too. Those like the short term need to be able to survive and the long term one. Those are, if people keep those in mind, you're in good shape.
It's interesting because like in the anxiety I was having like day to day, moment to moment, wasn't necessarily that I would run out of money, because I had like, the reason I went to these specific places, like one after the other, was because I got really cheap flights one way from London to Hamburg, Hamburg to Madrid, and Madrid back to London. And I got Airbnbs. Like, I knew that I had money in the bank to spend on lots of things if I needed to. It was just like doing the social stuff, like going into a place and saying, you know, Guten Morgen, or, you know, Hola, and you, and you know, being able to do the transaction with someone.
And then dealing with the vicious blows that rained down as you culturally appropriated their language by attempting to speak it to them. The ultimate insult.
How dare you?
You guys ever hear about that? Some people they don't like the whole learning other languages. I know it's a minority, but
wait.
Oh, that made me
Who?
giggle.
What?
I've heard, you know, I'm sure these are fringe people, but I have heard the argument that learning languages other than your native one is a form of cultural appropriation that should, you know, you shouldn't do it.
Was that?
It's funny because like
fringe
it's
weirdos. Yeah.
you know, it is cultural appropriation, but also
Sure,
cultural appropriation is not a bad thing and never has been. So like,
Agreed.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, one thing on this whole anxiety thing. You know what this reminds me of a lot? The thing that I relate most to, when I went to Japan, I definitely had this anxiety. But the thing that comes to mind for me with this conversation about being nervous and doing stuff is specifically, because like you went there and like you were saying, you had no like dates to meet, you had no like people that you needed to do stuff for. There was nothing. You went because you wanted to go. And that reminds me of when I would go out to the club and go talk to girls, because that is a purely selfish act. And it was in those moments of being, in my mind, I knew this, 100% purely selfishly wanting to meet people and, you know, create friendships or get sex or whatever. The anxiety was at my peak, because if they were to say the simple words, "Why are you talking to me?" the answer is, "Oh God, I have there's no justice on my side. It's pure what I want to be doing." And what a sin that is. What a sin that is.
what a sin that
Doing
is
the
to
thing I wanna
talk to be a social animal and do the normal thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are I remember those definitely.
I have no
anxiety
Hegelian
moments.
argument on my side.
No utilitarian. Well, I guess reproduce, spread my ideas and genes.
Yeah,
say that.
I like
Say-
that as a
say-
chick.
say that.
I
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
said that. I'm looking to spread my genes.
Just trying to
sister.
reproduce, spread
So
my
spread
genes,
them legs.
you know, gain social capital, you know. I should understand.
Yeah,
There was
we all agree
there
on
was a
this.
peak of this anxiety on the first day in Hamburg. Well, the first day I got there was like at night, so I went straight to bed. And I woke up the next day and I was like, okay, how to find breakfast. I googled breakfast nearby and I found a place and it was okay. It was like I was doing all right. But then it became, you know, I went into town and I was
Go
like,
into
okay.
Google and type "how to find breakfast."
How to find Well,
That's what you need to know.
Google Maps has a thing where like you click explore and it's like restaurants,
Yeah.
cafes, and it's like, okay, I can do that. I can do this. This is easy. So I went into town to just look around and take some pictures and all that. And then I was like hungry. It was lunchtime. It's time to go find a place to eat lunch. And I was in the center of town, so there was a lot of big restaurants. And I was like, I don't really want to spend a lot of money right now. I just want to find like something to keep me going for the moment, and then I'll have a big dinner later. But I spent a lot of the time just walking around, looking nearby the shops and the restaurants and the hot dog stands and being like, this is not in English, I don't know what to do. I go up to them and then I don't know what to say to them, so I didn't go up to anyone. I walked around for a really long time, and then I saw a McDonald's, and I was like, okay.
Thank God.
I mean, first of all, no, I'm not gonna go into the McDonald's. That's stupid. I flew all the way here. I'm gonna have some fucking German currywurst. I'm gonna have some legit Hamburg food. But I was dying. I was anxiety ridden, and I had like the lowest moment in my life. I went into that McDonald's, and I got fucking 10 chicken McNuggets with the fucking touchscreen thing.
American.
On the touchscreen, so you don't even have to talk to anyone.
I didn't have to talk to anyone. I knew there'd be a touchscreen in there. I touched the screen. I got the thing, and I just ate them, and I felt like a fucking fool. I felt like the biggest rube in the fucking world.
I feel you, dog. Munchie would be flipping out right now.
I know, that's why I wanted Munchie to hear. And it's like, alright, that kept me going for like an hour, because it's fucking McDonald's and it's terrible. Yeah. So like, I went home to the Airbnb, and I was sitting in the bed, and it was a terrible room. It was like 3 bunk beds.
I was going to ask about that. Was it just like a room in a house?
I mean, it served its purpose. It was a roof over my head, so it's fine. But like, it wasn't nice to relax in. There was this. It was a shared room. There was 3 bunk beds and a TV, and there was this fat German girl who was like, every single time I came into that room, she was laying on one of the bunk beds, the lower part, on her phone, watching like really trashy German TV. I didn't see her leave once. I don't know what she was doing there. And her boyfriend would come every so often and sit next to her or something. They would just both be on their phones, and they're terrible German TV, and they never turned the TV off, even until like 1 a.m. So I was like, damn, I don't know what to do. Do I beat the shit out of them and grab the remote and turn it off, or do I just...
That was my first instinct as well.
Or do I just sit here with my headphones in, but with no music playing, so I could maybe sleep?
Since there is no objective good or bad, how could I ask them to turn off this TV? That's a subjective value, being able to sleep.
Well, the trouble is that nobody could beat up a German because they all have tanks in their garage.
In this case, the girlfriend is the tank. Got him.
Oh, got him.
Hey.
So wait, I came after the McDonald's. I was like, okay, that was a kind of terrible first day, but it wasn't even late. It was like 4 p.m., and I was like, I'm hungry, obviously, and I'm gonna need dinner. I don't know what to do. And I was just thinking, maybe I could sleep through, like, the rest of the evening and through to the next day and then figure it out again.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there for like 20 minutes thinking, no, this is stupid. I can't do this. Oh, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm the worst guy of all time. I'm the worst at traveling. I can't do anything.
That was me my first couple of days in Tokyo. And eventually I figured out I could go to the convenience store nearby. But, like, I didn't know where it was the first couple of days. So I sat there shivering, sad, and alone.
Yeah. It felt very much like that. I was like, this is the worst moment in my entire life. And it's all my fault. And there's no one to help me. Oh, and I don't even have Twitter on my phone because I got rid of it, and I can't scream on social media. Oh no, I'm sad about stuff. And so, but I did the same thing with Google. I Googled restaurants, and I just picked one that was nearby, and I said, I'll just go. I got my coat. It was fucking really cold, so that's why I didn't really want to go out. And I went to this place, and thankfully the lady understood that, I just said, I don't speak German. She's like, oh, English? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, okay, have a seat. And then I ordered a food, and I had a beer, and it was like this sour pork, and it was very German, and it was a very German restaurant. I had like authentic German food, and it was really filling, and it was fucking great. And I really enjoyed my time, and I like it, and it was great. And I feel great. I felt so good that the fact that I got over this stupid hang-up of like not being able to speak to Germans, because it's like trying to speak to anyone, but also you have to look like an idiot when you say, I don't know what you're saying initially. And I felt great. I felt great after that. And for the rest of the trip, I was able to get lunch and dinner without really any problem. That's my arc for that story.
Isn't it weird that in Germany they have currywurst, and even though curry is like an Indian thing? But currywurst is a German thing? I don't know. I think it's strange.
It's just spicy.
It's cultural appropriation!
Yeah,
It wasn't even
is.
currywurst over there. I probably just I went to one of those hot dog stands where they were selling currywurst in a little plastic paper plate, and I had it, and I was like, this isn't really spicy, and it's not very tasty either. I don't get it. I don't get currywurst, but that's probably a bad example of currywurst. But yeah.
I got currywurst one time, and it was like, I got it at like a street cart, and they served it to me in like a paper fucking, one of those like paper cardboard fold-up things that you might get a serving of street French fries in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was fine. What the fuck's going on with the call?
Okay, all right. Let's.
Everybody
so there's an issue.
is lagging, apparently. I'm
Connections
glad
are
it's
a
not
problem.
just me.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's you and Tom.
It does seem to primarily be Jesse and Tom having the issue, because I don't think Ben, Gib, and I are having it. But nonetheless,
No.
that's not good. That's not good.
Well, that's my story. I went to a place, I had an arc on the first day, and then it was all right from then. Hooray.
Fantastic.
good
What
story.
about Spain, though? We didn't hear anything about Spain.
Oh, well, I went to Spain. Basically, the gist is that nobody...
Pure
well,
pain.
Here's an interesting parallel to, like, the first day in Spain. So, like, I got to Madrid, and Airbnb, very cheap, in a very poor part of, like, the suburbs, like a really cheap council house estate sort of thing. And I was just living in a room with a family, and the family was nice, and they had a dog, and the dog was scared of me, but he was a good dog. And I was like, okay, I got
kind
here,
of dog?
a big fluffy one with big ears,
Sick.
a big fluffy boy. So I was in that room, I was like, okay, it's lunchtime, I'm hungry, and the metro is like really long from the airport, and I'm really exhausted and tired. I can't go on the metro again to get into the center of Madrid to have lunch. I'll just see what's in the local area.
Sure.
At this point, I didn't know Spanish people don't speak English, so I was assuming
Right.
they would know a little bit. I go into this bar, and there's some guys just at the front watching the football going on, and I go up to the guy and I say, do you speak English? And he says... Well, I don't know what he says. He said something in Spanish.
No,
I didn't
senor.
understand it.
He says,
I didn't. Nobody said senor. Nobody seems to say senor in Madrid. I guess that's just
No?
not a
Okay.
thing. I guess that's kind of a fancy thing. Like, oh yes,
Yeah.
madame, sir. Like,
It might be more of a Mexican Spanish thing.
maybe.
Yeah, there's differences there.
So I was in this bar. There's just like three sort of oldish guys who seem to be regulars looking at me. And then the guy behind the bar, and he's like, so what do you he's saying in Spanish, what do you want? Like he's trying to understand what I want, and I don't know how to respond. And I find a menu, and I'm looking at it, and at some point he just gets frustrated with me. Like he knows food, so it's like he does like the emotion of like, he puts his fingers and thumb together, and he puts that near his mouth. It's like, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? And I'm like, I nodded my head, and he's like, okay, fine. He gives me some tapas, and he says, go sit down with this. I'm like, yeah.
So let me get this straight. You're sitting in a restaurant with a menu, but you can't read the menu.
No. I wasn't sitting down yet. I was like, I just walked into this restaurant, and there's a bar in the front, and there was a restaurant in the back. And I was talking to this. I was trying to talk to this guy.
He gives you like an appetizer tray or something, like
he
the
gives
equivalent of like a basket of bread or some shit.
Well, yeah,
right?
I mean it's tapas,
Yeah.
so it's like rice and
I don't know.
nice
I've
stuff.
never had tapas. I don't know what that is exactly.
It's sort of like a small. It's like an appetizer for a drink.
What?
The sort of thing you eat while you're drinking. So a little
okay.
nice little tasty thing.
Sure,
And so he gave me
alright.
that in a tiny little beer, and I was like, okay, well, I'll eat this, and then I sit down, there's a menu, and I point at a thing that seems to be like potatoes with something on it, and I'm like, I'll have that, and he's like, okay. And he's laughing at certain points. I'm thinking, okay, I look like a fucking idiot. These guys, they're just watching the game, and this complete, like, this foreigner comes into this small, like, residential area that no English tourist would ever go, And there's an English guy in here, just like being an idiot. I was like, hey, this motherfucker, you're saying in Spanish, making fun of me probably. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It was so ridiculous that I didn't actually care. I didn't actually feel bad about it, because it probably is really funny. So like, I had the food.
Did it feel like you were just sort of breaking all the rules of society and therefore had transcended them?
Yeah. Like, it was so ridiculous a situation to me that I'd never been in such an embarrassing moment. There was like, there's nothing that could go wrong. Like,
but in that moment, you ceased to care.
Yeah. And it was like a big difference to like, oh no, I can't possibly ask somebody who definitely does speak English for a meal. But I can go into Madrid, into a place where nobody speaks Spanish at all, and figure out how to get something in me. And it was just like, I was just sitting there, I was watching the game with them. It was England versus Ecuador, and then England lost, haha.
Haha. Just like you in this social interaction.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah. And I had another beer, and it was good. And then I went back, and it was just...
Sick.
It was a cool moment. I figured out that I'm okay in the real world. I can survive it.
That is a very valuable thing to learn.
How was the potato shit?
It was patatas alioli, which is I think like garlic cream sauce. So it's just a bunch of potatoes with garlic cream sauce.
An aioli is like a garlic mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, that was what it was.
A spicy
garlic
mayonnaise.
Yeah, and it was just a big thing of potatoes, and I was like, that'll do. That's filling, carbohydrates.
Okay.
And
a happy ending.
How long were you in Spain for?
I was in Spain for 1 day less than I was in Germany.
Oh, how many days?
So 2 full days, and then 1 day to get to the airport and leave.
Hey, you mentioned a dog. This allows me to segue into how much I hate dogs.
Oh,
I hate
Jesus.
pets. I hate animals.
Yeah,
I hate in the same way that I hate food, because pets are food, just at a different stage of the life cycle. And they're all equally boring. They're all equally topics for rubes to discuss. You go.
Is this just like your food thing?
It is. It is the exact same thing as my food thing. So I'm going to go on the exact same tangent. Like, you show up to a place and there's people there, and you go, hey, what kind of food do you like to eat? Oh, you like fried chicken? Well, I like roasted chicken. Oh, what kind of
you know what?
What kind of ice cream do you like? Oh, you like chocolate? Well, I like strawberry. Oh, what kind of dog do you like? Oh, you like fucking chihuahuas? Well, I like Great Danes. This is what people are like. This is human society. This is what leaving my house is like, and I don't ever want to do it again.
I agree that those things, like talking about what sort of stuff you like, is boring, and also I don't know what the difference between dog breeds are and why you would ever care about them. It's just like, oh, it's fluffy. That's
Some
all
are
you
cuter
need to
than
know.
others, in my opinion.
Like, oh, it's a half-breed Scottish bog spaniel. Like, what does that mean?
Okay,
Bog spaniel.
what's the fucking point of that conversation, right?
What's the fucking point of you?
Talk. It's small talk to break the ice. We all know it's worthless and pointless and doesn't mean anything, but it's just there to be filler.
I'll break your eyes with this ice pick.
Do.
Sure, it's filler.
I
That's why I
do
it.
agree that dogs are worthless creatures, and I don't respect them, and nobody
Well, I
should.
don't stand by that.
I mean,
No,
I
dogs are great.
like dogs on an individual basis. Like, I've known some dogs who rise above the pitfalls of their species, but very few. Like, I've known like 1 or 2 dogs that were like quiet and friendly, and shut the fuck up and didn't shit. But only, but that's they're just fucking yappy, barky, fucking aggressive, stupid. Dogs are so fucking aggressive.
They have their moral priorities are just ordered differently from ours, which in my opinion makes them
Dogs have no
inherently
morals.
evil. Yeah,
that's not true.
No. Listen. Since good and evil are purely subjective, when something has different moral priorities than you, it is evil. To you, it morally opposes
that's
your
kinda
fundamental
true.
worldview, making dogs all non-human creatures and most humans objectively evil.
You know what the problem is with that? That
eyes.
makes people on opposite political sides are correct that the other side is evil. Both sides are
That's
correct
true.
about that.
Why is that a problem?
Well, I'm just saying it causes some commotion out in that ocean, if you know what I'm saying. Let me. So I have a dog, Lord Sesshomaru, and he's pretty good. So the worst thing about Sessho, by far, is that he's very emotionally needy, and he hates to be alone. And so when you're home with him, it's fine. The problem is when no one's home with him, because literally almost every time he will shit when people are gone, because he's trying to punish us for abandoning him. And this has been confirmed, because like I'll go out for 20 minutes to drop like Michelle off at work or something, and in that window,
does that work?
He takes a shit.
If people abandon me, can I shit and then they'll learn not to?
It makes me so unbelievably angry.
Yeah,
and,
if Sesh were a human, I would tell him to get the fuck out and don't ever talk to me again.
I mean, so would I, but he is not capable of moral consideration, so I have to just, accept.
But does he deserve leeway for that fact? Well, I don't know. Does that earn him? Does that earn him more goodwill?
People with the minds of children deserve to be destroyed because they can't, maintain themselves?
I wouldn't destroy them.
Yes,
I wouldn't destroy them, but I would turn them out on the street and shut the door and let them freeze to death.
He's my responsibility, babe. I was prepared to accept this life when I took this burden on, and he's great in every other way, seriously, but in this one way. And so we've started when we leave, we have to put him in his box because he's going to shit, so we might as well do it in his box on some paper. So yesterday I do this. I'm out for 20 minutes dropping off somebody. He's alone for only that small window of time. When I come back, he has shit in his box and smeared it around with his paws on like the floor of his box, and I have to clean him.
So this is deliberate.
This is definitely deliberate. Definitely deliberate.
That's the worst. That's the worst possible thing. Because my dog, the family dog that we have now, he's learned to ask to go outside to shit. So he's good. He's a good boy about that.
But it's not about the shitting, it's about the abandonment.
It's about like if you leave him alone for too long, if parents are watching TV in the other room.
He doesn't poop when we're around, he's good. He
will bark. He will bark a little bit. But he's kind of quiet, generally, so like I don't mind him so much. The only thing I kind of feel bad about is like taking Omaha on walks, and when I throw the ball, he just doesn't bring it back, and he wants me to go bring it so that I can throw it for him again.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like dog problems, I don't really have that many. He's quite a good boy. But that's also because my parents do a lot of the dog walking for me. Right. So I'm not wholly responsible. If I had to do the dog walking every day, morning and evening, I would probably throw him into space.
Sometimes, taking him for a session for a walk, whatever, is like a fine, like deviation. It's like, I could use a break. I'll take 5 minutes. But sometimes I'm in the depths of working, and I do not want to be distracted. I am focused on my task and leaving it. And in those moments, especially when I know he hasn't pooped for a while, I take him on and he will not poop, and it's been like 10 minutes or something. That's when the rage that I do not experience in any other capacity in my life starts to be lit. Yeah, I get dog rage in a big way in those situations specifically. And I'm like, Sessho, you've got 30 seconds. You need to poop right now, or you will never. You don't know again. What's going to happen if you poop inside later. After I've given you all this opportunity, it's just he's a terrorist and he can't be negotiated with. Frankly, it's
really infuriating and revolting. Just the amount of shit that dogs get away with that other pets don't. Like, the amount of aggression that people let their dogs get away with. Yeah, because, like, no other pet in this world, if your cat attacked people, you would, like, throw it against a wall or, like, get rid of it. But like, I know
people that are totally fine with their cat just attacking visitors.
I mean, that's unacceptable.
And they blame the visitors.
They can die. Yeah.
If every time you walked by someone's house, like, their other pets started making noise and yelling at you, then they wouldn't want those pets anymore. But for some reason, dogs are just allowed to do it. I hate barking. Yeah. If you have a dog and you allow it to bark, I want to shoot you in the fucking head in front of your dog and give it something to bark about.
It's like Beanie, who would just go nuts, just go on an insane screaming rage.
Yeah.
Every time Dad came home. Which was every day, multiple times a day, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
are you fucking kidding me?
I have friends who I don't want to go to their house just because when you walk in the door, there's that 5 seconds of the dog freaking out and coming at you.
Yeah, that's just the person making a choice. They care about this dog more than the impacts to lifestyle that I guess they're going to suffer.
Is the dog vicious, or is it just really excited?
No, it's just it doesn't. It's too stupid to recognize me right away, so it needs a moment to understand that I'm not a guy you bark at. But you walk in the door and even if it's just 10 seconds of a dog freaking out, it's too much for one lifetime.
That does suck. I hate that.
It makes me not want to go to that person's house ever.
Plus, I think what the dog's annoying now. What's it going to be like later if I'm just being here? Is it going to start freaking out? Am I going to be uncomfortable? Is it going to be shitty?
They're so stupid because it's even if it's a dog that I know and 5 minutes from now I'm going to be petting you. And it's fine. You've seen me before. You know who the fuck I am. Why are you barking? Why are you doing it? You stupid fucking animal. You know who I am. Why are you making that noise? I hit him.
That's like Beans. Beans, you've been living in this house for what, 1,000 years now. And every day, the same person has walked through the door. And how could you not have learned that this is a normal occurrence that is not cause for alarm?
Man, I'm remembering that now. Thank God, Sesho is not like that. He is quiet.
Beans is fine. That's the one. That's Beans' version of shitting out of loneliness.
It's such bullshit that all my life people told me and tried to indoctrinate me to the idea that the Stegosaurus had a tiny little walnut brain. I know that dogs have a smaller brain than a fucking Stegosaurus. I don't believe that the Stegosaurus would ever attack me just for coming in my friend's house.
Probably not.
I'd probably go to a friend's house if he had a Stegosaurus a lot more.
Oh yeah, definitely. You could ride that guy. It'd be awesome. I mean, it wouldn't be comfortable because Stegosaurus has those things on his back, the plates. I mean, maybe if you could sit between them. I mean, it would be the most comfortable to ride a Triceratops because they have that shield in the front with the crest in the back of their heads and the three horns.
Yeah.
I've thought a lot about this. I've thought a lot about what dinosaurs are best to have, own, ride, and befriend.
Yeah.
I got bit by the neighbor's dog. Fucking recently.
How'd that go?
What kind of dog?
I don't know. Some not even a good-looking dog either. I'm so sick of people with stupid, goofy-looking dogs. He's got this
mutant inbred,
this big
pure
this
bloods.
curly white. It looks like a cartoon poodle, only it's as big as a big dog. It's just the stupidest, fluffiest-looking sack of shit I've ever seen. Just looking at it makes me mad. Listening to it makes me mad. So I already wanted to kill it before it attacked me, but
I've often fantasized
maybe
about
it sensed your animosity.
I've fantasized about being attacked by a dog and just clocking it in the brain.
Oh,
and
dude,
dropping
yeah.
it.
Oh, that's
that's
exactly what happened. That's
oh yeah, good.
I mean,
good.
When I walk by a house and the dog is and a dog starts barking at me, I freeze up and I think okay, I'm ready. If the dog comes barreling, if the fence breaks and the dog comes barreling out, I gotta time my swing exactly so I can just clock it in the face right before it gets me.
You get that dog fighting fantasy every time one of them comes at you.
I do
get the dog fighting fantasy. I get that
every time there's a dog that barks, I'm just no, fuck you. If you start shit, I will not. I'm not afraid to put you down.
I get that you have.
I'll punch a dog.
Yeah.
I'll punch a dog. I will fucking
get
whack
that
a dog.
you have teeth and you think that you're a badass because you've got sharp teeth and a long nose and shit. But I've got fists and feet, and my feet have shoes on them, so I can't even hurt my toes. My fucking feet are too strong because of my shoes. I can kick you,
armored.
I can punch you, I can headbutt you. I want to headbutt a dog right in the snout.
We're wearing cloth armor. We outweigh almost all dogs.
Yeah. I want to if you have a jacket on, that's leather armor, and leather armor, they wear that in video games, so it's tough. If you're playing a fucking a medieval thing. So
if you're a cool punk rocker or something, you
so
might
I feel
have,
when I'm in my leather jacket, I feel like plus 10 to power or armor or something, because like nothing can hurt me. So come at me, dog.
Only the
you don't have a
mightiest
jacket.
dog.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
the
like,
the most
yeah.
armor that a dog would ever have is like a sweater, but even that is not
just
as
like
good.
a little Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
It's like confers a huge.
Like, you've got a
armor
sweater,
bonus.
but
like,
I've-
shit, I could totally take this dog, but it's fucking it's like hand-knit
packing,
Christmas
yeah, like-
sweater from grandma. Is like I can't penetrate
The
it.
sweater might protect you a little bit, but hey, I've got like a shirt and a sweater and a hoodie and a jacket on all at once. I'm like I'm like a fucking walking tortoise tank. Nothing can take
Man,
me.
I haven't had like the fantasy of like fighting against a dog, but I have had like the nightmare fantasy of like, what if a dog is just going to kill me and he wants to rip my leg off and he's
Yeah.
big? Like, he probably just could, because
He's big
like
enough,
I've
sure.
seen Game of Thrones. I know what happens when your dog's upset and he's got a big sharp teeth. They eat you.
Dogs like
Speaking of-
they think that they're wolves, and that's what pisses me off, is that this unwarranted esteem they have of themselves, where they think that they're tough and they think they're like hot shit because they're like distantly related to something that's actually tough and cool and scary. You're not a wolf. I don't
That's
have to be.
real cultural appropriation.
That is.
That's true. The worst is huskies. Huskies are the dumbest breed of dog.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's something.
And
dumber,
it's,
but
and it's
they're
even more
incredibly
annoying
dumb.
because huskies are like beautiful and you want them to be
Yeah.
cool because they're like really cool dogs, but they're also one of the most ill-behaved.
They just, they're loud and annoying. You know, I've often wondered. So the only
They're
weapon
the
that
jocks.
a dog
They're
has
the-
at its
they're the
disposal.
jocks of dogs.
They are the
They're
retarded jocks
good
of
looking,
dogs.
good looking. You know, powerful retards.
Isn't
What
it
about you,
like a
Chad?
isn't it like bad design that like a dog's? So wolves have like, I guess they have claws, right? They could like
Of course they do.
hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good-looking,
No
powerful
dog
retards.
has that.
They are.
But like,
No, I just
it's
like
kinda-
that as like a title.
It's when it tries to bite you like a dog or a wolf. It's like brain dome is right there. It's right there, and I feel like I could definitely get a few shots
Yeah, you
in.
could
You
just, like,
could, if it
you could
clamped,
crack
if it clamped
down on
onto
it
your
like a-
arm,
yeah.
you could just start punching it in the eyes.
That's
know,
what I
or
would do.
something.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
think,
this.
I think you
fork.
could
this-
take all but the biggest dogs, even unarmed.
This stupid
Yeah.
like giant poodle fucker from my neighbor that attacked me. Like, what happened was, because like I had just gotten my car, and you know how like if you've ever gotten a car, like the first week something goes wrong, and it's the most infuriating thing in the world.
Sure.
Right. So like the first week I had my car, suddenly the door wouldn't close, and I came to find that like the latch on the door was like rusty, and it wouldn't like latch when I closed the door, so it would like bounce off the frame when I tried to close the door. So I'd have to slam it shut. But then if I like slammed it shut, then I would be stuck in the car and I wouldn't be able to open it again. So like I couldn't open the door, and I would have to like crawl over the center console from the passenger
Yeah.
door. It was so horrible. And like, this is a car that I just bought. It was like, massively expensive. I was so fucking angry getting in and out of the car. Like, before I fixed this, I did eventually fix it, but like I got out, I drove into my driveway, already steaming mad, thinking that it would happen, and of course it did. I got out of the car, I go to close the door, it slams and bounces off the frame a bunch of times. I'm bouncing it off the frame. It's going boom, boom, and it's like it's making like a loud noise every time it's bouncing off the frame, and the loud noise of bouncing off of it is making the neighbor's dog go fucking apeshit, of course, because God forbid anyone else make a noise. God forbid anyone but you.
Yeah.
The fucking dog is the only one allowed to make noise in this fucking world.
That's just tacitly giving it permission.
Yeah.
you know?
So like, finally I fucking am trying to like slam it shut, and the fucking neighbor, she has her door open, I guess, or whatever the fuck. So the dog runs at me, literally jumps up and like bites a chunk out of my arm. And I threw it off. The neighbor lady is like freaking out because like, oh my god, my dog she's thinking that she's gonna get sued. I'm not gonna sue anyone. I'm just gonna kill you, lady. So don't worry.
Right.
I'm gonna kill you and your dog and your whole family. Don't worry about me. I'm not gonna get involved with lawyers or anything. But so like I throw the dog off and I'm swearing up a storm and I'm yelling, and the lady's like, oh my god, what happened? I'm like, shut the fuck up! And so like the dog is like still barking, and I swear to God, I had this moment where I turned and I like penance stared right into the fucking dog's eyes. I stared right at it. I just looked at it and I gave it a look, and like the dog, I think in that moment, the dog became aware that I am capable of murder, and he feared for his life, and he just like, and he like backed away with his stupid tail tucked between his legs. It was, annoying, but it was a little bit uplifting to me to know that I could create a look on my face that communicates to a lesser beast that I will fuck you up.
Got that? You got that conqueror's hockey.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The ability to intimidate big power.
On a somewhat similar note to the dogfighting fantasy, I think about, what if my house caught fire? Could I save my computer?
Yeah, good question.
And then yesterday, someone actually remember Nuzlocke Genocide. Remember Bananas the Basculin?
Of course.
It was that guy. It was generally Bananas, who was the namesake. He just tweeted that his house caught fire.
Shit.
But he managed to save his computer. And I was like, huh. I think about myself in that situation all the time. So I replied glad you got the computer out, and also yourself or something.
Yeah.
As an afterthought. And yeah, I don't know.
So what do you think? Would you be able to?
It would be very difficult. I feel like, I think what I would do if my house caught fire and it was the house is filling up with smoke, and maybe I just have maybe a minute, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's I need to get out as fast as I can, or I'm risking life and limb. I think I would probably just, grab my computer tower,
right? Unplug everything real quick.
Unplug, leave the monitors, leave whatever, then grab my hard drives and my computer tower,
yep,
and run outside with that. The other stuff is yeah.
Man, I would be like,
preserve the data.
Mm-hmm. I would be having a real Sophie's choice between my computer tower and my laptop, because the tower has Vegas on it and all of my working stuff, and my Vegas is pirated for me by someone smarter than me. Mm-hmm. So if I lose it, I would never be able to get it back, because I'm not paying for it, and I'm too stupid to ever pirate it myself. So I would lose my career if I lost the tower, which might be a blessing in disguise. But
true.
But the laptop has everything I've ever written for the last 10 years on it. So, do I save, 10 years of ideas, or do I save the fucking machine that allows me to put them into use?
You could get Vegas again.
Do you not, write in Google Docs?
No, I don't, because you know what? I have the worst fucking system. If something happens to the laptop, I'm totally fucked, because I write everything in this MacBook Notes program. And you cannot convert those to anything else. You can't get them in a real file.
Can you not copy paste?
You can't move them to the tower or back them up. I figured out I had to look up how to back them up, but they're still in a weird format. So I guess I'm just lying. I guess I'm fucking making shit up. But the point is, it's slightly difficult to back up the files. It's one extra step, so I can never do it.
Effectively impossible.
I have I have a lot of the times I have redundant copies of things. I have shit on my computer. I have some of the stuff is backed up from my old computer. Some of that stuff was backed up from my old laptop. Some of that stuff is backed up on Google Drive or in Google Documents or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's a lot of it is redundant, but I have no clue where I saved anything. I have a bunch of email accounts, and who fucking knows where which account I saved what in.
Right.
So a lot of stuff probably would be recoverable even if my computer was destroyed, but it would be a huge hassle. And not everything.
I've been able to organize
newer stuff.
Yeah. I'm basically the same, but I do basically organize things by category. I've got best guy ever, then I've got a bunch of personal ones, and I've got a professional one, and yeah, so I keep them separate. I'm pretty good on that stuff.
You guys' file management sounds terrifying to me, because I'm constantly paranoid about my data being deleted, because I've had too many bad experiences, and I know it's a matter of time. So what I did long ago, and thank God I did it when I did, because they don't do this anymore, is Dropbox, right? I have all my important shit in Dropbox, and Dropbox is the best program ever made, because what it does is that everything's backed up to the cloud, but it also makes a local copy on your computer. So it's always local. You never have to download anything, but it's always being backed up all the time. And then everything
nice.
on Dropbox has revision history. So if I ever accidentally save something I don't want to, I just go to Dropbox.com and just roll back to the previous version, and it's right back on my computer. So it's the best thing ever made by a human being.
That's pretty good.
But here's the
good.
problem. The problem is Dropbox is only 2 gigs for free, which is not enough space. So what they had back in the day was a referral program back when Dropbox was new. It was like, everybody you get to sign up for Dropbox, you get an extra 250 megs on your free space. And I'm like, and this is back in the Pony days, and I was like, I can abuse this. So I go on DA and I go on Twitter, and I'm just like, use this link, just do it. And now I'm up to like 25 gigs for free on Dropbox, and that's enough. That's enough for all my essential shit. So I've screwed the system over, and now every time I get a new computer or set something up, which is all the time, I just download Dropbox and everything's there, and I feel like God. And I don't worry about files ever.
Well, I'm a little jealous. It's pretty good. Although, I mean, 25 gigs is not. I mean, like, I just got a new hard drive. And I think it was Fat32, that fucking villain, Fat32.
The ultimate arch nemesis of the PCP.
Yeah, because like there were some video files that I was moving, and I think it wouldn't take them because they were over 4 gigs. Ugh.
Maybe it's actually like a squad. It's the Fat 32, and it's these 32 fat dudes.
Well, Fat32 is evil, and he's fat because he ate 1 through 31.
Can't wait for him to make his official debut in the Royal Rumble at RadCon.
The Royal Rumble,
forever.
hell yeah, hell yeah.
But I reformatted it. I finally I can use it now. So I've got new space. The problem is just choosing what I want to get off my main, because like recording this, I only have like 9 gigs free on my main hard drive for some reason. I don't know why that is, because I had like 15 yesterday, and I don't know what happened.
You gotta download Windows directory statistics.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna empty my recycle bin right now. Maybe that'll help.
Will help.
That's a good idea.
Windows stats great.
But at work, because I software program and all that, we heavily and strictly control all file updates that get checked into our VCR or VC whatever, our version control software, VCS, I guess.
Oh, Hippo. I do use Windows-stat that you recommended to me. It's great. Yeah, it like shows you like a visualization of your hard drive in terms of like how much space is taken up by what, and you can sort of like look. And you can
want that
look
right
and
now,
see.
Dude. It's the best shit.
It shows you like a grid, and you can just look at like the biggest squares in the grid, and it'll tell you like, oh yeah, this is http://pornographyfolder.org.
Hell yeah.
It's
Actually, I have a funny story with Windows Stat, which is not really funny, but I just find it amusing because I'm a tech guy. Is that I bought this I bought a tower when I moved in with Digi, because now I could have a tower again. And I got this like HP workstation, like super cheap, because it's like old but it's still like super powerful. It's one of those computers that used to cost like $6,000 when it came out.
Yeah.
So now it's only like $500, but it's still good. So I was like, I'm poor, so I'll get that. And it has 48 gigs of RAM and 2 6-core processors.
Dang.
That's not very much, right?
It's a lot. It's a fuck ton.
Of RAM.
48 gigs of RAM.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I was using it, and I realized immediately that I was running out of space. And I'm like, how is this possible? Because I have a 256 gig SSD. I should have space. And then I opened up Windows Stat, and I was like, oh, of course. What Windows does is every time, what it does, it makes like a swap file on your hard drive. It like has like reserved space, and it defaults to double your RAM size. So I just have 96 gigs of my 256 SSD as a swap file, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. I guess when you have this much RAM, you need more hard drive space now. And it was just like this huge fucking enormous square on Windows Stat. I'm like, what in God's name is that? And it's just like the fucking cache file that you can't get rid of. I'm like, okay, well, shit. I'm fucked.
You're fucked, dude. You're fucked.
Yeah, but I have 48 gigs of RAM.
I feel like I should mention, just in case people don't know, but on Google Docs, documents that are just writing take up 0 space.
They do.
So you can have an unlimited amount of those.
It's a very valuable thing to know.
Which is why I think, Jesse, if you can, like, try to copy paste all of those onto there.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
You'll never run out.
What if you know how like on Microsoft Word you can like embed music and stuff into documents and things like that? What if you could do that with Google Drive and they still took up 0 space? Just have this crazy piracy network where it's just like every MP3 ever in a document that takes up 0 space on your drive.
That would be pretty dope. hey, I've got
the system works.
I've got an update for people from last PCP. If you recall, Redue, run every day until I'm hot. The program I'm doing now. I just want to give everybody an update. I'm doing it. So far, no flaws. Perfect job. I am the best.
Actually, I have something
Sensational.
retarded to say about that. When I first heard Redue, run every day until I'm hot.
Redue.
I did not realize that the hot was your physical appearance. I thought you just meant run until you felt hot, like got hot.
Sweating.
And I'm like, that sounds like a
that's what I
really
thought
pussy
immediately.
running regimen. That'll take like a minute.
What? No. God damn it. It's a
Run for
lifestyle
like
change.
2 minutes
That's
until you start to
Yeah,
sweat.
yeah,
And you're like,
that's
well,
not like, whoa,
I'm
that's
done.
enough, man.
I did
That's
it.
enough.
Yeah, that's initially what I
Yeah.
thought it meant, and I was just like, well, I guess that will
shit.
slowly get better as your endurance increases. But then I realized, oh, I'm being a fool because I'm not thinking of Nate that way.
Well, apparently other people thought that too, so fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, well, no, it's about changing lifestyle. So actually, a dude messaged me the other day. This was yesterday, and he heard of my epic tale from the last PCP episode. Wait, who was this?
Which epic tale?
Just
About
how I'm
Redue?
doing this. How I'm doing this.
Okay.
This is Captain
I mean-
Suppy. I've heard that name around somewhere before.
All right.
He apparently is like a dope ass run boy. Runs like, I don't know, it's not professional, but he's on his college team or something. He sent me a big old document illustrating how my efforts are going to overtax my body because I'm going to fuck myself up if I actually run every day as like a noob, which I am. And so he just broke it down into like a bunch of sections for your first like 2 to 3 weeks. What did he say? Let me this is funny actually. Let me read like the little intro thing he put here. Let me say. Okay, so this is his intro paragraph, which is, I like this a lot, because what he's doing is he's establishing why I should care about his opinion, which is the most important thing with this. So
Yeah,
it says,
that's the sticking point for me.
yeah, of course, because like he could just be some fat nobody who doesn't know a goddamn thing. But he says, okay, I want to preface this by saying I know my shit. Oh, by the way, he wrote this whole thing yesterday while high, as he explained to me as he was doing it. Okay, he says, I've been a runner since I was 12. I've done everything from track to cross country, have ran 3 half marathons, have a 4:55 mile, and an 18:20 5K PR. But I'm going to give you advice based on the fucking casual I know you are. Don't worry, I'm not trying to have you break records. I know all you want is to lose those annoying small but noticeable flabs. So with that, let's just jump into it. And then he just breaks it down for like a couple of weeks. And he says to run like, starts off 2 to 3 times per week and then up to like 4 to 5 times per week and shit. But it's good. And you see, I want to use this as an example, people, of even though my program definitely was not optimal, it was not perfect, it got me going, and it gets people. I know I have an internet presence, so like I'm more likely to get things like this, but like maybe you know somebody in your life. I'm just saying the power of doing something as opposed to nothing to get you moving in the right direction is a very strong thing.
I appreciate this guy's effort, and his credentials do seem good, especially if they're true.
Assuming they're true,
Yes.
which I don't know.
But
yeah.
on the other hand, you gotta think about our boy Saitama, who just ran every day and became the strongest man in the universe. So I don't know.
That's true.
One of these people.
So this guy wants you to miss out on that.
Yeah,
this guy's trying
yeah.
to sabotage you.
You know, the one thing about this is, I was saying this last time, and I still think this is true. It's easier for me to just say I need to run every day, like to myself as a rule, as opposed to, oh yeah, I'm going to run like 3 times per week, and I'll just mark those on the calendar, because then like I might just fuck up and be like, oh, I'm tired
I feel
today.
the same way. Hey, do you have
Yeah.
the problem that I have? Do you have the problem of like universal willpower? What I mean by that is that, okay, here I'll just use an example. Thanksgiving just happened a couple days ago, and broke keto to do Thanksgiving. I was doing
Right.
Are you back on keto? I kind of thought you had quit.
I'm considering it still. What I'm trying to do right now is, before I just quit completely, I'm just trying to cut out diet soda entirely, because I don't know if it's diet soda that's making me sick or just the diet in general.
The man feels sick, Ben, so that's the priority. Whatever. That's.
Okay, yeah,
But
sure.
here, the thing is, the point I'm coming with, like, universal willpower is that, so I broke keto to, like, be with family, have food, be a disgusting degenerate, eating sugar.
Yep.
Sugar actually tasted odd, and I didn't like it. But that's
great.
That's a side point. But after that, like for the last couple days, I have like been significantly weaker, not only in my diet but in everything. Like getting to work takes more effort now. Getting up at a decent hour, which has always been bad, is more difficult. I rolled out of bed because I got a message from my phone, which was Nate saying it's PCP time. I'm like, fuck, it was like 3 seconds ago. So just one breaking of like habit has ruined everything. Everything's all tied together. It's the worst. And if you want to be a god, you have to be perfect, because that's what a god is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, pretty much.
As soon as you succumb to one weakness of the flesh, it all comes crumbling down. Like that Jenga game that I fucked up when we went out to Boston. It's the worst.
Wait, what did you fuck up in Boston?
Remember we went to Boston, we were playing Jenga, and I totally fucked it up last minute, and it was
Did
sick.
you? Did you lose Jenga?
I was the one who lost Jenga. Yeah, because my hand trembled. Because I had a good move, but my hand trembled and it all went to fucking shit. And Munchie was playing Megalovania while I was trying to do it. It put way more pressure on me.
We played Jenga in that like Chinatown like bubble tea shop, and they had like all the bricks for the Jenga set had like shit written on them, and some of them just had people's phone numbers written on them, and I just picked one up and called it.
It was
like,
great.
in the store.
Was it a local hot mom looking for quick sex?
It sounded like, no joke, it sounded like a QT Asian honey pie. Yeah, it sounded like a cute Asian girl who was like really shy and like she was like hello, like I didn't even hear any words, right? I heard like some kind of whisper, some sort of like vague whisper of like acknowledgement that a phone call had been received, and I just said like, hello, I found your number on a Jenga block, and I just wanted to say that you're I want to wish you a happy day and let you know that you're a good person or something. And she just started laughing.
That's cool.
It was funny.
Yeah.
You literally should have married this woman. Well, you had the chance.
I mean, I took pains to make this not a traumatic or scary experience.
It was an oddly upbeat interaction.
Yeah.
You've got her number, though, and she can't escape that.
It's true.
I guess so. I guess it's in my phone somewhere if I wanted to
Just gotta
find it
wait
again.
a little bit longer, then you just hit her up again and be like, so, what are you doing?
Why not?
Remember that time I found your number on a Jenga block? Well, it's time to pay the piper.
Yeah. She could be 45 or, I don't know, who knows, with these Asian ladies sounding young when they're not. I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyway, hey, Captain Suppy, I'm sure that he's, like, correct in his plan, but I still feel a desire to do it every day. So I'm going to probably keep doing that, at least for a little while. Although, my left ankle, something's going on there that's not great. It's the muscle. It's not like the bones or anything. I probably need to just stretch. If I just do that. Because, my runs are pussy shit. They're half an hour, and I take a bunch of breaks, and I just hey, I'm tired. I need to walk for a minute.
Right.
So,
Sad.
whatever, I'm working on it. But I'm going to follow this Bible he sent me. This is some good shit. Anyway, there's your update, people. I am a god. I'm going to be a god. By the time I get to Hawaii, I need to be hot. That's my goal. So I'm losing weight as fast as possible.
Keto story. I went to Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't break keto. Well, I kind of did a little bit. In the sense, I mean, I ate turkey and I ate Brussels sprouts and green beans. I basically just ate turkey and greens. And the only questionable things I ate were I ate pumpkin seeds, thinking that they were keto. But I looked it up later and they actually have some carbs in them. Oh, I didn't eat that many of them, so whatever.
Okay,
so that wasn't great,
bad.
but it was. And then there were these these weird things that like Aunt Sunny made or someone made them, and they were made of almond butter rolled with some kind of seed, and they had some dried cherries in them, and they said a little bit of maple syrup, and I had one or two of those. So they had a little bit.
Were they good?
Yeah, they weren't super sweet. They weren't sweet like a dessert or anything. So I felt like these can't be too bad. Yeah, they were decent.
Right.
I mean, I just really like almond butter. I love nut butters. All about those nut butters. Hey, listen to me talking about food. I'm like some kind of idiot talking about a dog.
Yeah, so embarrassing.
What a fucking joke. Hey, Hippo.
Huh?
Why don't you fucking celebrate Thanksgiving?
Oh.
Why aren't you thankful for America?
Because I don't care. I'm not that thing. What have you made for the rest of us, really?
How about
peanut
freedom?
butter. You ever heard of George Washington
You ever heard
Carver,
of
inventor of peanut
You ever
butter?
hear of
Pokemon
slavery?
Go.
I ain't never eaten a peanut butter, ever.
What about freedom? We invented that too.
We invented both
We invented
slavery
the bald
and
eagle.
freedom.
Yeah, but we're...
We invented bald eagles. We probably invented guns. That might even be true. I don't know.
Yeah, Chinese did that technically.
Oh, right. I saw Princess Mononoke.
All right, please enlighten me, because we don't celebrate Thanksgiving because it is an American tradition, but I don't actually know what it's something to do with the Native Americans.
It's
or
literally a
something.
celebration of genocide.
No, it's not. That's an exaggeration.
I mean,
it's
that's just how it
It's an
started.
exaggeration, but I mean, yeah, it is.
You know what? I was arguing with Michelle about this. What you celebrate on Thanksgiving is specifically the event where the Pilgrims and the Indians work together and were harmonious. You're not celebrating. Look, yes, there were
Yeah.
genocides later, but you're not
It
celebrating
was like that
So
first
as I
year or
was saying,
something when like the Indians or the Native Americans shared with the Pilgrims so
Yes.
that they wouldn't starve.
So it
Yeah,
was
or
like
whatever.
a thank you in the form of giving food from
Yeah.
one to the other for okay.
It was
about
like
coming
it was like
together
a
with people and-
thanks for sharing, harmony.
Nobody
kind of
really cares
thing.
about the Pilgrims, though. It's mainly like a celebration of family and hanging
Yeah,
out with
that's
your
true.
loved
Well,
ones.
yeah,
and
I know
Yeah,
that. I know
yeah,
that
yeah,
from
yeah.
watching all those funny American cartoons about families.
Is there a
that
Charlie
have
Brown
no
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
days.
There's got to be, right?
Yes,
I think I've
it
only
must
seen
be.
the what most offensive video version of that and all
Yeah.
other Charlie Brown specials.
Is it "Suck My Big Black Ass," Charlie Brown?
I bet that's actually the name too.
There is one that is called that. I think it's the Valentine's Day one. I don't know.
You know, there's a thing about Thanksgiving. It's like a small gripe because it's not really a thing that has ever been pushed. But I get this feeling that on social media, people don't. They say thanks. They say a funny meme thanks because it's Thanksgiving where they are, and it's like there's this slight implication that you should be saying thanks in general. Like it's not about Thanksgiving necessarily on the internet. It's just about saying thank you for stuff you have. And I'm like, well, I mean, I know it's Thanksgiving because everyone talks about it, and I'm like, I'm thankful for things, but I don't want to be involved. It's not my culture. I don't know what to do.
It would be
want to
cultural
appropriate that.
appropriation.
Yeah.
It's not even about cultural appropriation. I just don't want to be associated with this America. This what gross.
Same.
I mean, yeah, I don't think any. I wouldn't expect
on the-
outside cultures to recognize American holidays or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to to look away. 'Cause imagine you don't celebrate Christmas, and then every year there's a lot of Christmas stuff on everything,
Oh my
and
God,
you
you're
can't really
right.
get away from it. And it's like I don't know really what to do. About
Now I understand
this.
why I have to commit acts of terror. This cannot stand. We have to cease this oppression and bullying.
It's not bullying. I don't feel bad about it. I was just, just
I
thinking
know, I
about it
know.
because, I don't want to say, "Oh, I hate being thankful," because I don't. I like being thankful, but it's not the time. It's
Gratitude,
not yet the
gratitude
time.
is a virtue, in my humble opinion. But yes, I understand your point. It can be annoying. By the way, I've opened up this Winder stat shit. Looks insane, and it's pretty cool. I don't
Cool,
get it,
right?
but I like it.
It's
Basically-
hover over the squares and you'll see at the bottom. It'll show you what files.
You
you're
click
looking
on
at.
you click on the squares and it'll show
Oh,
you
dude,
where that file is and what
I'm gonna
it is.
let's link this in the show notes. I'm gonna give people a screen cap of my breakdown of my drives. Hopefully, this doesn't contain secret information that you shouldn't know. But if
Best
you
Guy
look on
Ever
the right
videos
there,
from 2013 that still haven't been made yet. 77.
Yeah,
gigs,
yeah,
just this
you're
huge fucking
kinda.
folder.
look at this. Look at this. What do you think the biggest ones here are those blue squares on the top right? What do you think those are?
I mean, I would imagine that they're probably system files or something.
No, they're not. They're actually, well, I'll just tell you. Those are the video files specifically of the Final Fantasy lecture. That's what those are.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Dude,
sure.
that's dope. That's dope as shit, dude. Oh, fuck.
VLC
bro.
media files, 1.4
Dude.
terabytes. Yeah.
This is so good because one of these is Tom's lecture backup. So like that lower blue square, that's the backup file that I was holding on to of Tom's lecture backup of the Guilty Gear. I could probably fucking delete that at this point.
Don't need that
I don't think
anymore.
anyone needs that. That'd be nice space to have.
It's
I
cool,
love
right?
using this.
It's good to see it visually.
It is so good. It's great.
You completely forget, like, because every time I render any video, I usually handbrake it, which reduces the file size, but often I forget to get rid of the original.
Yeah.
And seeing that is like, oh, that huge thing, that's the podcast from a few weeks ago that I forgot to delete.
So cool. This is so sick.
I have so many files from old PCP episodes.
Me too.
That
Me too.
Do not need to be saved.
They definitely are not necessary anymore.
Yeah, I probably have like 50 or more gigs of that shit.
Yeah, this is
the
our
coolest
Black
program.
Yeah, this is the Black Friday deal. Get this for zero money because it's free. Instead of buying a new hard drive for Christmas, get this and get rid of old shit.
You know what, though?
Yeah.
On this subject, here's one other factor of this is I am terrified of deleting source files and then the project disappear. Like, I've backed up, like, all Best Guy Ever videos in places, but...
and, like, all their components.
What if I delete, like, my audio from a PCP episode, and then, you know, like, the episode gets taken down and we need to re-render it or something?
I feel the same. Yeah, I have the same thing.
Yeah.
I have all that shit.
I've thought about that, but I also think having the original files is something that you would need if you're like the Beatles and you want to, remaster the fucking Beatles albums. A PCP episode, it's not really that important.
You're right on that. You're right on that.
People have been able to download the MP3s forever.
That's true.
Things are saved in ways.
Even if like our channel disappeared tomorrow, we would still have all the necessary.
That's true.
And also
That's true.
we'd also
All the
be
MP3s
still here. We
are
could just
on our
make new
website.
episodes.
We can download at our leisure at any point.
You know what, though? I'll give you the biggest example. The most ancient thing I unearthed and re-rendered was at one point. I can't remember what it was for, but at one point, because I still have all the original files for Best Anime Ever, Gurren Lagann Part 2 on my currently, not my current machine, my old machine, which is still hooked up. Like, I re-rendered a certain section. Oh, you know what it was? I had to re-render the personal fucking responsibility clip for the for the Mia Maffava song that I did for Mia Maffava last year. Because I wanted to render it without the backing audio track, but I wanted to keep the visuals and stuff. So that particular section, I'm sure glad I still had that, so I was able to reproduce it for the highest quality. But even if I hadn't kept it, all that would have changed
you could have
is
just
that I would have viewed a clip
that
just had the music in it, and then just kind of fucked with the levels to lower it and shit.
Or you could have just re-recorded saying that.
I can't do that. I need to preserve the quality of the fucking
that would be
originals.
that would be like
that would fuck with my
remastering
head.
fucking. That would be like remastering Symphony of the Night and changing the dialogue. or something.
He
Can't
went
do
there,
that.
ladies
It's against
and
the
gentlemen.
rules.
I don't know. I feel like
I know it's not a big
if you
deal.
still have a microphone or a tablet, you can recreate things. Things get lost all the time. I feel like.
Nate, I feel your
not the
same
end of
dedication to preserving the original.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I get it. I get it. I feel that way about the original versions of certain video games where every digital version sucks for some reason. I don't know why.
All the
Tomb Raider
remasters
1.
of Final Fantasy IX have really shitty background art now.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah,
I want to buy the original just for
Yeah.
that reason. But for videos on the internet, I mean, specifically my videos on the internet, I don't really care. I'm sure people do care, but if my channel gets deleted, it would take a lot of my time and effort to re-upload the files I have.
Yep.
I don't know whether I'd even try.
Damn. Well, I mean, I definitely don't feel that way, personally. But it would, I don't know, not everything that's on there would I feel the need to resurrect, probably. Though I'd want to. But
I have zero backup of any of my video content because I care that little about it.
Well, that's Tom for you.
Hey, speaking of the lectures, you mentioned the lectures, looking at these files. So here's something that I'm going through. Here's something that I'm dealing with right now. So over the last while, I have been sort of talking to Laserbot, a Camry Blankenship, the creator of Tales Gets Trolled, and I friended him on Facebook, and like he'd seen the lecture, like he knew who I was more or less.
Yeah.
And we sort of start like casually talking, like every few days we'd send a message back and forth or whatever. And I tell him like, hey, it would be really cool to have you on our podcast. And he was like, okay, cool. Well, I don't have any internet right now. I don't have a good microphone. I don't have a good internet connection. But when I do, I'm interested, and I would like to talk about this new project that I'm working on. Well, it's not new. He's remaking an old series that he had on his YouTube channel. I think I've mentioned it before. It's called Micah Rat.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, we can talk about Micah Rat. Like, I'd love to, get you on the show and like, we could talk about whatever you're working on. Just want to fucking chat, and it would be super cool. So that we proceed under that pretense for maybe like a month or two, and then I watch all of Micah Rat. Like, I tell him, like, it's interesting, it's interesting to see how you've evolved as a whatever, I want to know, yeah, cool, let's talk about Micah Rat. I'll want to talk about Tales Gets Trolled and all that, too. Like, but yeah, we can get on, talk about Micah Rat, we can promote the remake of Micah Rat. And then he's just like, oh, yeah, this was so infuriating to me. He's like, well, I still don't have a good internet connection. I still don't have a good microphone. The best I can do for you is give you permission to talk about Micah Rat on. And I'm like, I have not responded to this because this is so infuriating, because that's nothing. What he's saying he can do for me is nothing.
I mean, that's an acceptable amount if he just doesn't want anything. And...
Oh, sure, okay, but then what the fuck have we been talking about? He doesn't need to give me permission to talk about his fucking YouTube series.
True.
I'm so fucking mad. He fucking strung me along.
That's understandable.
For what?
You were the one doing all the work there, because we've been talking about getting him on, possibly, or talking about his stuff for a while. But you were the one.
Look, I mean, if he didn't want to be on, why didn't he just say? First of all, I don't understand why not, because no one has ever heard of.
Look,
Micah
okay,
Rat.
I think it comes down to this. Sure, in the abstract, yeah, he'd like to be on. I think it's just not that important to him, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Oh.
And it would be nice if he had been clear with you on that.
Why did we even have this fucking exchange? What was the point?
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed about it.
I mean, the whole, like, internet thing, like, I understand people, maybe they don't really have control over that. But, yeah, I mean, you got control over this other stuff.
I mean...
If he didn't want to, then, would have been nice to let you know a little sooner.
I don't know. I wonder if he even really has no internet connection, or if he just doesn't feel like doing this, and that's his excuse.
How is he messaging you on Facebook?
Well, he said he doesn't have a stable internet connection. Know. So, like, whatever that is.
I didn't have a stable internet connection. Maybe. I'm still doing the show today.
I would literally, if having no microphone, if having not a good microphone is the problem, I would literally buy him a microphone. Yeah. I would send him like a $50 microphone, which would be good enough.
That's, I feel this way a lot with people. Like, I am a guy who, when there's a thing I want to get done, I find the points that are the issue. We resolve them as quickly and efficiently as possible and get to it. I mean, but that all hinges on the fact that this actually is something people want to happen. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe that's not.
Well, yeah. And it's fine. Just if he was not interested in doing this, why did we proceed for all this time?
Here's a theory. I don't think he's much of a podcaster. Maybe he's nervous and he just doesn't want to, a lot of people wouldn't want to say that. I'm not talking shit on the guy. It's just, some people are like that. No. So,
Well, I don't know. I might give it another shot. I might, talk to him again and be like, I don't know. I probably shouldn't just
level with him, Just level with him here.
I didn't respond to that. This was a while ago, actually. I didn't respond to that because I was very frustrated, and I didn't want to come off as a jerk by saying, okay, what you're saying you can do for me is nothing. Because that's what I wanted to say. Because that is.
So instead you just put it on the podcast that you wanted to be on that he might listen to at some point.
His permission to talk about his work is nothing, because that is that's something that I don't need permission to do.
That's true.
As someone who already did a huge lecture which started this whole thing in the first place, clearly his permission is not necessary.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, God, it'd be so cool. It'd be so funny. It would be so funny to have him on.
No one's
because he's not anywhere. There are no interviews with him or anything on YouTube that I could find when I looked.
Give it an old college try there, Ben. One more time.
I shouldn't give up. I shouldn't give up just yet.
Look, I mean, I would just if he doesn't want to do it, there's that's it. That's fair enough. There needs to be a bro talk here about let's get real behind this wheel, dog, and just you want to be on this thing or not. Let's
I want to talk about Micah Rat, right?
Yeah.
But I want to talk to you about it, sir. Mm-hmm. I don't just I don't have that much to say about it on my own. That's not the that's not the point here.
I feel you. That's been on your mind. That's been a thing you've been dealing with for a while.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm glad it's
I was really looking forward to maybe getting Camry on. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit crushed. I was a little bit crestfallen when I got that message being like, actually, oh no, it all comes tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
I don't want to believe the man who made Tails Gets Trolled isn't a man who executes on his goals and dreams and ambitions. So please prove us all wrong.
I will say the idea. Okay, having watched Micah Rat, the idea that he wants to remake it is totally baffling.
Maybe there's some core idea that he wants to really
that's what I
change.
want. I want to know, are you just gonna remake it, or are you talking about a reboot with the same character? That would make more sense, because I'm pretty sure that the characters in Micah Rat are animalized versions of him and his brother and their real life friends. So a reboot of it with the same characters would make sense. A remake would not make sense, because I'm pretty sure they just sort of fucking riffed, sort of improv the whole thing, and
Well, we need him on to answer
these are the questions. These are the questions I want to ask him.
Right,
yeah,
of course. Mm-hmm. Well,
get on it,
Mr.
Ben.
Man.
Yeah. Okay. I've been reinvigorated
Excellent.
in my quest. Yeah.
I had one thing. I had just a thought. I was philosophizing, just riffing with my own brain. What do you guys think about this? This is my little philosophical thought of the other day that I'm raising now. I was thinking about why everybody is so upset. Specifically, I was thinking about bullying. but it applies to other stuff. And I was like, the world hates bullying so much, and bullies specifically are vilified. Understandably so. But the whole world despises bullies intensely. And it's because bullies are a very tangible thing, I think. You got a situation about a kid being bullied. It's okay,
everyone's been bullied in one form or another.
Yes.
Right.
What I'm thinking about how do we resolve bullying, or you'll see how this extrapolates outward. And I was thinking about when you've got a situation where let's say a weak little kid is being bullied by a larger kid. How do you fix this problem in the real world? Because you got there's two options here. One is that the outside world intervenes and maybe separates them, punishes the bully, does something like that, and in some way it stops the aggression from happening. There's another way that this situation can be resolved, which is that the person who's bullied in some way steps up or proves that they won't be bullied, they won't tolerate it, maybe fights back physically or whatever's appropriate for the situation. And I was I was thinking about this equation, and I'm like, man, the whole world just seems like such a place where people want to do something.
To intervene?
Yes. Yeah, this interventionist mindset.
I think I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how the world has only, of that equation where there's two things that can change, the entire world can only operate on one axis there, and that is the interfere with the bully and stop them from doing the bad thing.
Yeah.
But we have to admit that a big factor here, a big way that this can change is for, maybe he gets a talking with his dad, he, pulls up something from inside himself, but the person who's being bullied, they are the one, they change their mindset, they change their, internal mechanisms. or they just get like a really good lecture from their dad or mom or whatever, and then they're like, no, I'm not going to be bullied anymore, and then they fight back. Because most bullies, as I understand it, they'll pick on the people who are like the weakest targets. So if you just won't roll over, theoretically, and as long as it's capable of some backlash, like online, this is a different thing where everyone's anonymous, can't really fight back very well. And
I see what you're saying. So like the world wants to intervene and punish the bully.
Yes,
but the better outcome really is that the bully with two E's, a trainee or an employee. There's the bully and the bully,
of course,
like the keyblade.
Right.
So the bully changes for the better. Learns something and corrects the situation himself. I mean, that can't always happen, right? Like some kids, sometimes the size difference might be so vast that like the small one just can't fight back. That he can't stand up to him in any meaningful way.
I'm sure there are situations like that. I
mean, most bullies do not bully unless they have a comfortable position of power or anonymity on the internet, which is a power in and of itself, or in real life, like size or money or like a job above the person. Like, bullies are fucking cowards. They, in most cases, they only exist in situations where the other person cannot fight back, because unfortunately, at some point, a bunch of idiots got together and decided that murder should be illegal, and so there will never be any justice ever in the world because you're not allowed to kill people. So the world is fucked.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Like, the point I wanted to make about this was less about bullying specifically, but it's that I feel like the whole world is kind of possessed by... like, our actions are so guided by the fact that we can only intervene on one side. We can't empower anyone to like change their internal mindset, even though that I like. Let's say that this kid
is it like you're risking victim shaming at that point.
That's true.
Like, people don't want to do that.
You can't make someone change their mindset, but others' actions can lead to a change in attitude, like by example.
Yeah, that's true.
For example,
that's definitely true.
It's not like we can do nothing to change others' mindsets, but we can't like intervene directly.
It just often seems like those who fight back are usually the ones punished.
That I suppose I don't.
And I think the way to fix that is that I think the way to fix that is just like have no more laws. Just like if someone is fucking with you, you should be allowed to fucking cut their head off. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Who in their right mind? Look, I don't know how much this happens. Like, I don't know what kind of bullying is more common. Though they say bullying is on the rise, but I think it's more like emotional and like mental abuse and stuff.
I mean, that's the same.
Well, I'm talking like I guess that's true, but if you've got a person who's like you're a kid, you've got no friends, like maybe you're a new kid at school, and like there's a big kid and like he's got like 2 or 3 friends that always hang out with him, and they just call you names every day, and they call you names every single day.
I saw Bart the General.
You saw what?
I saw Bart the General.
Right, and like if you like what happens when it comes to a head? Like, you can't. I think this is more to Jesse's point. Like, if you like punch the kid one day because you've just had enough, he never got physical, and for some reason, understandably, it's harder to quantify like emotional abuse or like mental bullying or whatever. So like you are the one who took it to like an actual violent place. So like I feel like people are going to be like, oh well, you're the real bad guy here. You're the one.
Society talks about.
I've always hated that.
I mean, that kid is wrong. It is wrong to attack someone.
No. It is not. The thing that I hate is that physical violence is held as like more dangerous, more bad than like emotional abuse.
It is though.
No, because it's because of the context at which people like take physical and mental abuse. Like, you can't quantify it when it's emotional, and because you can't quantify it, you can't weigh the amount of physical abuse against the amount of emotional abuse. If somebody deserves to get punched in the face, you can't clarify that after the fact and say, well, he did, yell at you this specific amount, so one punch is okay. That never happens. So, everybody who is, the most annoying person in the world, but they don't throw a punch, can get away with that forever.
Society
and somebody who throws a single punch
bullying.
is a villain.
Society says it's against bullying, but the way that we, like you said, quantify, because the person was violent, that automatically is worse than the emotional abuse. It's not. So, you're not allowed to stand up for yourself or be a man. You're encouraged to be a rat motherfucker and a coward and bully people.
There's if you think of every TV show where somebody gets punched and you're like, oh yeah, they deserve that.
Yeah.
Or Game of Thrones, somebody dies and you're like, finally. The things he's done. I mean, in Game of Thrones, everyone kills everyone. There's always physical violence, but if somebody there was that moment in the Harry Potter movie where Draco gets punched by Hermione and everyone cheers at that. They're like, "Oh yeah, cool, girl power."
Yeah.
And it's really cool and it's fucking sick. But it's Hermione didn't do a good thing, but we all agree that we all generally agree that he kind of deserves that, and it's not
and in real life she'd be fucking expelled
out of school for that.
Well, I mean that's fiction, right? In fiction, you can get punched in the face and it's fine.
No, the reason I was saying fiction is because in fiction you're reading it or watching it, and you can get a sense of how it feels for the one person being bullied, because that's how the narrative is
you
this is the villain.
You kind of can quantify the bullying in a book where we can see in their head.
The only person who can quantify the amount of emotional abuse in real life is the person being abused, and an outlier and an onlooker can't really gauge it perfectly.
Physical violence in the real world, despite how it looks in media, is ugly and gross.
That's true.
And
bad. So is
and
emotional abuse.
In real life, a bully getting... Yeah, sure it is. I don't know. I don't think that, I think the amount of emotional abuse someone would have to inflict to deserve to get, physically struck or injured is,
I mean,
insane.
fucking...
super
Bill
high.
Burr. Bill Burr.
Why is
made a very
hurting
good
someone's
argument
feelings more okay than hurting someone's face?
Emotions aren't even real, dude.
Well, listen, Bill Burr, I think, summarized this well in one of his little bits, which was okay, you come home from work, I don't know, you've been married to a woman for I don't know, let's say 10 years. I don't know, let's say you have kids, and you just find her fucking the neighbor, and you're like, okay, sure, it's not good to attack her or be violent to her, obviously would never condone it, but you can understand why this is bad and what one's motivation would be for being physically violent here,
to want to be sure.
And in this case, it doesn't that's not justified. It's not you're gonna fix anything to attack a person,
and that's I mean, God, I mean, that would be a crime.
That's true.
To do it.
And it would not
be
a crime. It's not a crime what she did. On the other hand, but it is bad and it is damaging in other ways. And I understand we can't compare them; they're kind of non-overlapping magisteria. But
what?
I mean, I don't know. It's sort of similar. It's sort of emotional abuse.
It's sort of. I mean, she's hurt.
Yeah.
This man emotionally. So it's comparable there. What were we?
You know what?
Honestly, the point we're driving at here.
I mean,
the
Ben,
ultimate point is do we want physical violence to be okay, or do we want emotional abuse to be not okay to an equivalent amount? It would be lovely if we could quantify the emotional abuse and then
the problem
deal
is,
out punishment properly.
Right now,
but
what we're doing,
it just doesn't work. It's kind of impossible.
We've
to do that.
already said physical violence is out. We can't do it. Okay. And now we're trying to do the same thing. At least like Twitter with their Twitter just made it a rule where it is now a reportable and bannable offense if you misgender or dead name someone, and so that's a trans thing. So so what the point of that policy is to stop you from hurting people's feelings, and I get it.
God, I better fucking get my shit together and start remembering that his name is Christine Weston Chandler.
That he could report you.
It all comes down to we all.
I'm sorry, she whatever.
We all agreed that if a dog is barking at you, you should be allowed to fucking punch it in the brain. I mean, if a dog is emotionally
that's a
abusing you
dog.
by annoying you enough, then you should be allowed to be as violent as you want and have a fucking dog meat sandwich for dinner.
I can't agree.
Okay,
But the reason-
now you've found okay. I do want to hurt dogs. I do.
It's like the reason you would go to physical violence is not because you love to kill. It is because that is the solution. The dog will not bark as much if it sees you
but
glaring
is
at it
it
and
though?
punching it. I mean, like
is
in
it-
theory,
Dogs-
we all have fantasies.
Dogs
about
are
it.
the
bullying
original
thing, it makes-
bullies. They fucking bark and
With the-
bark, and they
with-
act
with
like they're
the-
tough shit, but they're cowards.
Well, like, attacking a dog may or may not fix the problem long term. Like, standing up to a bully, even physically, that may, in fact, fix the problem long term. It might cause more violence.
I don't know. I mean, it might sometimes. Yeah, it might
it might
scare
create
them off.
other problems. That's
it
true.
would would make like okay. I don't think that you solve the bully problem by like fighting the bully and hurting him so that he's like, oh, if I fight this kid, I'll get hurt. Like I don't know. That's a really
You've
clean
changed the
narrative that you see
situation, but you
in
haven't
media.
technically solved it. It could go another
Like,
way.
yeah, like it could just make him hate
And
you
I'm
more.
aware
It
of
could
the
just
cycle
make
of
him
violence.
even greater. Yeah, it is. It is the cycle of violence. I know that,
Yeah.
in some cases it might fix the situation, but yeah, the cycle of violence.
Okay, you know what? This is an interesting topic. This actually was not my point at all, and my main point was just that I was thinking about bullying as an example of how, like, outside people, we want to. Our only power here, if we like see someone getting bullied, all we can actually do to change the situation is to like intervene personally and like do something to like stop the bully. We can't change what's going on inside the person who's being bullied. And I guess my only point is I think that's like kind of an underserved and an underrepresented important element that I just think deserves more I don't know what's to be done. I guess it's kind of like, instead of just like shitty, I could go on Twitter and like shit on Trump, I guess. But like, I just think even if Trump is the worst president, worst person ever, I just think a better thing to do is to like think about like, okay guys, the world sucks. Here's what you can do to improve yourself. And like, these are the ways that no matter what happens, you'll be in a better place to deal with
giving
it.
someone a fish versus teaching them to fish. Like if you
Yeah.
take the bully out of the equation, the person who's getting bullied is still emanating that kind of energy that attracts bullies, and they're just going to continue to get bullied.
Great point. And it's like beating up their bully instead of teaching them how to beat off bullies in general.
Oh, beat them off, huh?
Beat off your bully. Guys, we found the solution. Beat off your bullies. It's what they're really looking for.
It's
but
love, not hate.
I pretty much love that. I guess that pretty much sums it up.
Break the cycle of violence and
with
beat off
love.
your bully.
With love, guys.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I guess like punching people is not like the solution. I just feel like the punishment for punching and the punishment for emotional abuse is like skewed
very different.
I think for
very
me,
far in like harsh penalties for physical.
yeah,
I guess like after a certain point there is a threshold. There is a threshold beyond which it's like, well, this guy's broken his leg. Like, that's fucked him up, and he's gonna break that leg again because the bone will never heal quite as strong as it ever, the first time. So, like, that's irreparable damage.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up. So, like, there's a threshold beyond which physical violence is always worse.
I mean, physical
but
violence is just more easily observable.
The small stuff is like if a kid shoves another kid, like, the kid who shoved should not go, like, get sent home, and then the bully who was, like, teasing him should get off scot-free. That's basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah, which is why I think they generally write up both kids whenever there's a fight, no matter who started it.
That's why I got sent home and suspended for getting punched in the face. Classic tale.
Indeed. You shouldn't have had such a punchable face there, Tom.
Well,
it's your one mistake.
Big and ugly, and it's asking. I was just asking for it. What can I say?
It's right.
Teachers had been just clamoring for an excuse to write you a pink slip and send you home for the day. And it's like, he got punched. Perfect.
Exactly.
Now we can add insult to his injury.
I don't know. I didn't have to do homework for 3 days. It was fine.
That was a good. I was glad I was able to generally articulate the point. It's an interesting topic.
I just think the problem. The problem is that, like, just to cap it off, is that
sure,
like we as a society do undervalue don't put enough weight on mental like stress and like emotional abuse. But the reason we don't, and the reason it's such a problem, is that we're all emotionally weak, and our culture makes us emotionally weak. And so
we're getting
the way
too.
to fix emotional bullying is to strengthen everybody to not be such a little bitch, because we're all little bitches when it comes to our fii-fis, and that's bullshit.
And like
I don't even
we regulate based on the
know
least
how we could
resilient
possibly
people.
do that.
Yeah, because like I mean, and of course we do, like because it makes sense. Those are the people who need protection. But then like the whole system caters to them, and is that necessarily like then like we get all this padding on everything, and so people don't have as much opportunity to like build up resilience. Like I heard of something that apparently this is true. That in the wake of Trump getting elected, there were actually a large number of millennials suffering, like this is not a joke, actual real symptoms of PTSD.
Yeah.
Just from Trump getting elected.
I think I know some of them.
Oh yeah. Well, and like so, and I mean, you look at the world, it's like okay, things seem okay.
Like I
know.
know people who's like have like mentally gone downhill like since the election of Trump.
I
Something
was
about
actually
that makes me
assaulted
wanna
by one
laugh,
of those
but
people.
I guess I
come to
shouldn't.
think of it.
Oh yeah.
On the subject of,
Oh, that was when you were
back
like
on the
you as a
subject of
joke were a Trump
bullying.
supporter.
Yeah,
right?
on the
Costume.
subject of what happens when you stand up to bullying.
Yeah.
I went to a costume party, a Halloween party, like around the time that it was 2016, and I didn't really have a costume, so I thought, it'd be funny if I went as like a Trump guy, right? So I like put on like the Make America Great Again hat, and I put on like a denim jacket, and I went around like I'm a Trump guy. Well, it was a party with a lot of like young, like early 20s women who don't like the Trumper, so. A lot of them
They can't bump to that Trump.
I got a lot of
in the
nasty
club.
looks, and I got a lot of people like yelling at me to fuck off just for like being there. This one girl who was like very drunk.
You would have gotten less attacked if you'd literally gone to this costume party as a Nazi. You would have been more beloved.
There was this one drunk girl who like came up to me and started like pushing me and putting her hands on me and like hitting me and like trying to scratch at me and like and I kept like trying to like push her off of me, and I finally said, if you put your hands on me one more time, I'm gonna hit you back. And she is like, oh yeah, fucking, and to like test me, she does it again, and I just fucking hit her. And like you would have thought that I shot a puppy. Like the entire party stops. Everyone, it like instantly became the most chaos I've ever seen. The whole party descended on me. Like three guys bum rushed me out of nowhere, and like I suddenly I'm fighting three guys like a fucking Jackie Chan movie, and the whole time that I'm fighting three guys, she's like pulling my hair, because I had long hair back then. She's pulling my hair, she's scratching me, screaming at me. All these guys who like don't know what happened at all. They don't know the situation. All they know is that
all they saw was that a girl got hit by a guy, and they were like,
so they got a fucking white knight, and they got to come up, and I fucking there was. I'm proud of this though, because there was one guy who like dressed as. There's this guy who like I think runs for president every year. One of those crazy homeless people who like wears a boot on his head. I don't remember his name, but his thing is that he wears a boot on his head. And there was like a guy dressed up as him with a fake beard and a boot on his head. And like at some point in the fracas, in the melee, in the brawl, in the other fucking Smash Brothers words, at some point I threw a perfect uppercut, and it was like a Shoryuken and like I connected with this guy.
I was gonna say, did you say Shoryuken?
I knocked his fucking boot off his head, and his fucking his fake beard went flying one way, the boot flew the other way. He went up in the air, and fucking like I'm not saying that I'm like that I killed all three guys, but I fucking connected with that uppercut, and that fucking boot motherfucker went flying, and it was beautiful. But yeah, literally, I started a riot by wearing a costume to a Halloween party.
I mean, I can see how every step of that story progressed and why it progressed the way it did. Here's the frustrating thing. Here's why you told that girl like don't assault me or I'm gonna hit you. She assaulted you and you hit her. I don't think that was wrong. Yeah. But here's the frustrating part, and why the cycle of violence is a problem. Like, justified or not, you know that girl's story is a crazy MAGA Trump guy hit me at a party.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But you know what?
And that's the story she'll repeat for
You
the
know
rest
what
of
makes
her
it
life.
worth it, though, is that I heard the next morning from my friend whose house it was at the party that she drove home drunk and crashed her car.
Holy fuck.
So
Not into any innocent people, I hope.
no, just into like a tree or a
not.
pole or something. But yeah, fuck her.
But
Well,
I
alright.
hope she
you
fucking
know
died.
that this
Yeah.
was only due
Yeah.
to the severe concussion delivered upon her by that vicious Trump supporter.
This was due to the PTSD,
That's-
the flash that you gave her flashbacks, and she was like she had to jump in that car and drive because Charlie was in the fucking
Yeah,
tree.
you know, it was all
She had to escape. There was an Agent Orange was closing in on her. She had to fucking escape the
the
cloud.
true Agent Orange himself, Donald Trump.
Oh
It was
my
all
God.
his fault.
Oh my!
Jeez.
oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
she wrecked her car that night and like ran away from the accident and got picked up by the
God.
police later and got arrested. So I win, I guess.
Well,
I guess
it sounds
at
like
the
she
end of the
was
day,
acting pretty bad.
she couldn't trump the stump as she fucking ran into a tree.
It's true. Oh, fuck. It's so... There's no way to fix this problem that people just read into situations what they want to get out of it. That's just what we all
Yeah.
do, and I don't know...
Yeah.
I just really like the imagery of like a brawl at a Halloween party.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
amount
all
of
the-
yeah.
all
scary
the ghosts
people
and ghouls. I was-
come out.
I was
Right.
fighting off
that's-
goblins.
Like that would be in like a Jackie Chan movie or in some like
or like a
hilarious
Ninja Turtles
B
movie. You
Yeah.
get the Casey
Yeah.
Jones mask. And you got all
Yeah.
the ninjas coming out.
You have like Freddy versus Jason, but they're like shitty Halloween costume versions or something. You know that
Jason's
plays out.
costume is a shitty Halloween costume already, but fair point.
That's true. That's true.
Damn, that was a good story. All right, well, good.
Yeah.
Let's
Don't know what the answer is though.
There is no
don't
answer.
Don't know if we've learned
I
any
think-
morals.
we didn't
Well,
find
no,
an answer,
it's
but
kind
we
of
got
a
a funny
things are
story.
rare
to
in life.
fix.
That's the
Yeah.
best we can do.
You can't really fix human nature. People are going to
Yeah.
want to punch each other.
There's a
and attack
reason
each
why
other, but-
philosophers have not cracked this code over the thousands of years of human civilization, because it comes down to human fucking nature. As long as that's the same, as long as people are selfish, willfully ignorant, and form teams, which we all do and basically always will do, this will continue to be a problem. And social media has just made it that much easier. So
Yeah.
there's no fixing it.
It's unfortunate because like I like being in a team, as in like people I like and like people who I respect and trust.
Yeah.
Like I like being in the team of people I like. But the reason I like that is because there's a possibility that there are people who are like if we were all robots, we would all be self-sufficient, but we would have no friends,
That's true.
and it would be like, as a human, I kind of don't want to live in a world where I'm by myself.
Yeah, it sucks.
But-
it sucks.
Can't help that.
Oh, just as an addendum, I looked up to clarify the name of the costume the guy was wearing with the boot on his head. The guy's name, so everyone knows I'm not making this story up.
Is it Slavo?
His name is Vermin Supreme.
Oh yeah, Vermin
Yeah,
Supreme.
that's the guy who's dressed up
Yeah,
as, and
I have
knocked
heard
his
of
fucking
that.
boot
Yeah.
off. Very proud of myself.
It's fucking sick. All right, well, how about we get to those fucking voicemails now, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think it's about time.
All right, let's
We're
do it.
closing in on 2 hours.
Okay, let's see.
How many do we have?
We got 10.
today.
We got 10 here.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, and after the whole thing went down, one
Yeah.
of the guys who had like jumped me in that fucking fracas, after it was all like dying down and like everyone was like trying to separate everyone, and it was like one of the guys did that like insufferable thing that guys do, where like after a fight they try to like shake hands and apologize, and I was having none of it. I fucking looked at that guy the same way I looked at that fucking dog. I just gave him the look. I gave him that Enlit G look of
The Conqueror's
yeah,
hockey.
stick your
goes.
fucking hand out to shake it. Fuck you, buddy. And I fucking said, fuck you, and sucked my dick, and I walked away. And there you go.
Sick.
And he sat there with his hand out like a fucking goofball.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised it ended, I mean, so relatively amicably. Like, people were still able to, like, shake hands instead of, like, the whole thing just
Well, they
splitting
tried,
off,
but I didn't
exploding
shake their
outward.
fucking hands. They
Right.
Yeah, I
They
would've
tried to
thought
make it
that
amicable, but
the
I
only
was
thing
like,
to do
oh,
would
hell
be
no.
to fucking flee from this fracas and never return.
Does that mean they recognized their mistake at the end?
I think it's just like a self-defense mechanism. Like they want to be able to say, "Well, I was the good guy."
I don't know.
at the
I don't know
end,
if they
so.
recognize their mistake or if they just because my fucking boy butt chugger Cody LaRue came out and fucking yelled at him because it was his house and.
Oh, okay.
So you don't want to incur the wrath of the fucking butt chug man. He'll
No, sir.
Yeah,
he'll dunk your fucking head in the butt
definitely.
juice. And there was a tub of butt juice at the party. It was one of those like when people make the big alcohol concoctions with the fruit in them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was labeled butt juice. But
Yeah.
he'll fucking dunk your head in there.
It's fucking sick.
I'm sorry.
right,
I just keep uncovering layers to this fucking story.
No,
that I'm
it's
remembering.
good. This is good. This is a tasty onion. I just want more layers. All right, let's visit in with our friend racist Forrest Gump once again today. He's got another message for us that we need to hear.
He's becoming a member.
Sure.
Basically.
Jenny, I got a problem, Jenny.
Oh no.
What is it, Forrest? What is it? Jenny, the SJW neo-Marxists, they found it. What did they find? Forrest? They doxed me, Jenny. They told my boss I was a racist. They are coming after me, Jenny. No, Forrest, that's horrible. What are you gonna do? I don't know, Jenny. They're outside my door with pitchforks.
Fuck.
With pitchforks. What am I gonna do, Jenny? You gotta run, Forrest. Run, Forrest, run!
I just love hearing from racist Forrest Gump
Our
so
weekly
much every
dose
week.
of racist
That is the
Forrest
perfect
Gump.
end
Hey,
to that arc.
yeah.
He began the cycle
Right where
of
he
violence,
began.
but he wasn't prepared to finish it.
What's the what's the like Twitter alternative?
Gab?
That like people that get banned from
Gab, yeah.
Yeah. He better make
Yeah.
a Gab account.
That's the only way. It's
I
the
think
only
that-
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor racist Forrest Gump.
He didn't do nothing wrong,
whoever thought.
except for the
Yeah.
racism.
Except for being racist. Yeah.
All right, next call we
His
got
defining characteristic.
the PCP medical consultant is calling in with some updates
no.
for us. Tell us how
Okay,
we're broken.
look. As a fucking 6th-year medical student listening to this podcast, I'm so fucking angry.
Mm-hmm.
In episode 134, you are saying that the gallbladder secretes bile. It stores bile. Fucking ass idiots.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And the appendix
Stores bile, apparently.
doesn't digest fiber. Fiber is indigestible.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
I knew that.
I knew
Please, you are the reason people are dying.
that. Okay. I'm pretty sure that I corrected the appendix thing, but yeah, I misspoke about the gallbladder. I'm sorry.
That's where the pee is stored, as I recall.
Yeah. In the gallbladder's in the testicles, and it
just
stores
filled
the pee.
with piss. That's why
Yeah.
women.
Where does bile come from? Okay, the gallbladder stores
I
bile.
don't know.
But where does the bile come
It's
from?
made
Is it
in
the
China,
Yeah.
and
the
you eat it.
pancreas? Is it the spleen? It might be the spleen,
Oh
actually.
god,
It's
he's
the
gonna call back
brain.
even madder. Yeah.
Oh.
It's all
The
My
brain,
brain is
the
full-
brain is
my brain
where
is full of
you get
bile.
all the skeleton from.
perception is reality,
that's-
so it all comes from the brain anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
All right, well, we're the reason people are dying.
Sorry about that, dude. Thanks for calling in. Let us know if we fuck anything else up. Okay.
Yeah, we're the reason people are
Yeah,
dying.
if it wasn't for us, death would be a non-issue.
That's the new
in the
tagline for the show, the Procrastinators podcast. We're the reason people are dying.
Dude, that's really good.
Okay, here's our next call. This is
Okay.
from Shraft Vortex.
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah.
I've been killing rowdies with him.
Oh, really? Oh, you know him?
Once in a
Oh,
while.
okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know. Okay, let's see what he's got.
Hey guys, just wanted to ask real quick. Do you think that everyday situations have been made into to be political, or do you think that they have always been and are just talked about in that way more often now? Cool. Discuss.
That's
Wait.
it.
I don't like this question because it's
Wait,
too
is he
vague.
asking like why everything is so political nowadays?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
like I said this on one, but I wasn't recording because I was an idiot. So I guess I'll reiterate the point that I made the last time because I thought it was a good point. I figured out why everything is so fucking political and horrific nowadays. Right. Why you can't get away from it. Why everyone's like sucked into the one side versus the other. Mm-hmm. It's because you know that fucking guy on your Facebook. You guys heard the story, but pretend you're hearing this for the first time.
I'm hearing it for the first time.
You know that guy.
I wasn't listening
on everyone's friends list who's always posting like, I'm depressed, please someone hang out with me, I hate my life and I hate myself, and I'm, the person who's always like having like a pity party for themselves on Facebook.
That's me you're talking about.
Everybody knows that person, and like we feel bad for him for a while, but nobody wants to be that person. Nobody wants to go on Facebook all the time and make themselves into an object of pity by saying how bad their life is, right? But everyone feels that way. And everyone wants, deep down, everyone wants to go on Facebook and just like let it loose. Like I've got problems, and here are my problems, and I'm lonely, and I'm sad, and I'm heartbroken, and I'm miserable. Like everyone wants to do that, but we're all kind of like, we have that level of shame where we don't do it. So people all day are going around with this thing inside them that they just want to express their pain, but they're embarrassed to. So they have to latch on to some other way to express their discontent. And the most acceptable way to do it is to latch on to politics and make all of your problems because of the opposing team. So that's why all anyone talks about anymore is politics and complaining and fighting about politics, because they're just sad.
I do think that you're onto something. Yeah, it's become maybe a little more like in vogue to be political, I guess, and a little more socially acceptable and like commonplace to talk about these things publicly. However, I mean, I think that the issues that are politicized were always political. Like, it's just they weren't as discussed in the same way.
Is it literally because, like, millennial people who grew up with the internet as it started are, like, now adults and people just use the internet more?
That definitely adds to it, I think.
Yeah, because, like...
now it's so easy to bump
I feel like the internet has been
with
around.
different people because of, like, Twitter and stuff.
Yeah. Like, it's weird to think, because internet has already, it's been around for a while, and people have been on it talking about political stuff for a while, but it does feel like in recent years that it's just more. And I guess it could just be that Trump was a big, upset, like, oh, who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a new politician doing the same old shit. It's someone that's, like, you get good boy points for saying the politicians are bad, and then suddenly once you get good boy points for saying the politicians are bad, now you want to talk about politics more.
Once you get one good boy point, it's a slippery slope. You just crave more and more.
It's just way easier and way less vulnerable to be outraged about like what the president is doing or what insert political group here is doing than it is to be like openly sad and asking for comfort and help because your life sucks.
Yeah.
There's
something to that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, if you can just like dent your personal issues onto political problems, and then you can talk about it guilt-free.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
like
just why,
and that's the other thing. Like, why I can't really, why I, like, people use the term centrist a lot. I don't really believe that that's a thing. I think it's kind of a straw man. Like, people's idea of like a person who is neutral, I guess, is that they just think that like both sides are wrong about everything. I don't think that at all. I think that both sides are right about most things. I think that and this is the reason why I don't get invested too much in political issues, is because everyone feels the way they do for a reason. Something fucking happened to them. When someone is, outraged about, like, Trump and is saying that, like, all Trump supporters must be rapists or, like misogynists, like, you can say that person is crazy, but something fucking happened to that person to make them feel that way. So
some crazy guy punched her for no reason at a Halloween party.
Like during the Brett Kavanaugh thing, I was pretty not into how it seemed like there were a lot of pretty baseless accusations being made. But like, of course people who like had any kind of personal experience are going to be like, no, we're going to fucking err on the side of caution. Just if there's even a fucking hint that there was some impropriety, no, this man is clearly not, and then like,
yeah,
I
that,
get it.
Like no issue is really about the issue. Like the Kavanaugh thing, I don't even know what it is or what I'm assuming he like did something at a party, like raped someone. I don't fucking know.
That's the accusation. Yeah.
Like the issue that people are arguing about isn't really about him, that guy. It's about there's people who have been sexually assaulted who feel one way, and there's people who have been falsely accused of being like sexual predators who feel another way, and like they're arguing from their own experiences. The guy, Kavanaugh, doesn't fucking matter. He's nobody, but people are saying, this happened to me, well, this happened to me, so fuck you, and we have to fight about it.
Yeah, and then everyone else falls into like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen to me, or like, I'm afraid that might happen to me, and then they fall on one side of the
both
thing.
sides are wrong. It's both sides are right. The world is really fucked up, and it's fucked up in so many like interconnected, convoluted, crisscrossing ways that like everybody can be right in how they perceive the problems in our society. Because it's all happening. All the bad stuff is happening all the time to everyone. Every bad thing you could possibly imagine, it's happening to everyone.
That's true. That's why what I said before, like, to every side, the other side they are correctly being identified as evil by the other side because they don't share their values, which makes them evil in their mind, and that's it. You can't argue with that. That's their...
I'm interested in, like, why happy things, like good things happening, is just uninteresting as news.
Because
like,
anger is a stronger, like, there was a thing about how anger is the
why
most
is it
viral.
Stronger? Why is anger stronger? Like, is there a reason for that?
Disasters happen fast. Like, good things happen
I think the reason
gradually.
why, Gib, ties into probably, like, biology, really, because, like, if there's something good happens to, like, your tribe of, like, 100, Neanderthals, like, oh, good, my son was born, hooray, whereas... oh no, we're being like invaded by the enemy. We're all going to be wiped out. Like that's going to trigger like a stronger.
We need to be.
That's just a guess.
I agree with what Ben said too. That was a good point about how like bad things happen fast and good things happen gradually. Like there's no nice equivalent of a school shooting where like someone comes into school in a trench coat and starts hugging everybody. Like that never happens. That's not a thing
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, all the positive news stories you read, like they're either boring, like oh yeah, that bill that was in town hall election, it got passed, we did it. Like
you never
boring.
see a volcano,
or it's something dumb, like oh hey, the fucking Christmas parade's in town, and Santa this year
there's a cat who's a mayor of a town. Like isn't that
you never see a
right?
volcano erupt with donut sprinkles and confetti.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
It's always lava for some
fucked
fucked up reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is. It's always for some reason. It's always lava.
It's like try something
it's always
new.
Metaphorical
even in video
lava.
games. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Actually, in Mario Odyssey, there's a volcano full of like gravy or
Shut
shit. Okay,
up.
all right.
Yeah.
This is why, left or right, I don't think it makes sense to tie them into good and evil. But I do kind of think you can link good and evil to the top and bottom of this 2A, which is authoritarian versus libertarian. Because I just think that the solution to all these problems is for everyone to be self-sufficient, not worry about what other fucking people are doing, and just mind their own goddamn business. I think that is just the best way to be.
If
Stop telling people what to do.
That,
like, let the racists be racist.
Be good.
Who gives a fuck? Because I got my shit going just fine over here. They have no influence on me. And those people can feel the same way about these transdegenerate, whatever's on the other side.
I mean, it's just if you let the racists be racist, then they vote.
It's
then
only
they
a problem.
Fucking...
That's only a problem if then authoritarianism comes back and they have leverage over the people,
which they will vote to make happen.
I don't know. Well, that's why I'm saying that libertarianism is the good. That is the way to be, so that people don't have this shit hanging over them, and there's no threat to anyone. That's whatever.
Sure.
I know that's idealistic and not practical, but I'm just saying that's what I'd like to see.
I gotcha.
How many fucking voicemails?
We got 7 more.
Like
let's
4.
we don't have to do them all that long. Let's go. Okay, next one. This is from Cholo Jones. Let's see what he's got for us.
I have a real problem with people just saying they're so irresponsible they can't do anything. They all just need to get a responsibility board, get just a fucking whiteboard or a corkboard and stop being so gay and just write down all the things you get done. And if you don't accomplish them, you have something right there to remind you of what a failure you are. You should get off your ass. Also, I have a problem with Digi thinking that animals just shouldn't exist. Animals are essentially
you won't find much sympathy here.
Pokemon that are just not quite as cool because they're like the same thing. Animals are Pokemon.
Yeah,
is my point.
No, dude.
Digi is a known Pokemon lover.
You don't want to collect all the animals.
Can you
do
imagine
not want to
how
do that. You don't want to have a
hellish
house full
life
of
would be?
I'm gonna come down hard on the Digi side of this debate. Animals against them. Me and I'm with Carl Pilkington, who thinks that animals are redundant and most of them probably don't need to exist.
Yeah, fair.
Like how many slow insects do we need? Like, yeah, we've got the snail and the inchworm. Like, what do we need both for? They do the same thing.
You're not wrong. Mm-hmm. Shit, did I title this one wrong? Oh, no, sorry, I've got the next one open. Yeah, I like animals, so I'm on this guy's side. They're cool, mostly dogs. Don't really care about the other ones.
I like me some chicken wings.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
All right, let's just move on to the next one. All right, fuck this gay shit. All right, here we go. Play. This is from free Patreon money.
Oh my god.
I like this call already. Let's
answer this one.
Here we go.
All right, I have the deal of a fucking lifetime right here.
Sounds like Munchie.
This is the epic.
I thought
deal,
it was Munchie for a second.
I like this girl. I like her a lot, and we talk sometimes. We're friends,
Oh,
and
no.
I want to be her girlfriend. I want to date her. So give me some advice, and if she becomes my girlfriend, then this is what you receive. You get Patreon donations galore. I'll donate lots of money to every single Patreon for everything, all the links that are in the description or whatever other links that exist. I'll get all of the money, and I'll do it real good. Just give me some advice. I want this girl so bad.
Okay, I know exactly what to do. I know the
stakes.
answer to this. So, okay, she's a girl, she's your friend, and you really want to be with her, and you don't know how. Here's what you do: you sneak it in a little bit. You fuck like a little bit at a time. Like you just kind of you're hanging out with her like normal, and you're laughing and you're joking. You're being cool. You're being your regular cool self. Like nothing's different. And then like you sort of slip in like a you look nice or you look your hair is nice today or something that she'll like notice. Just to acclimate her to the idea of seeing you as a sexual being. You've gotta like, and when you finally do like sort of pop the question, like, hey, you want to kind of like be together, like a fucking like you and me and like a romantic thing. You gotta say it. You gotta be casual about it. And if she's not cool with it and she's not okay with it, you gotta act like it didn't even really matter to you. It was just a dumb stray thought in your head, and just drop it. And then like you maybe ask it again in like 6 months. But whenever she rejects you, just act like it doesn't even fucking matter, and it's just dumb. Because if you say to her, all of a sudden, I'm in love with you, and we really have to be together, and I want you to be my girlfriend, and I want to be in love with you forever, you're gonna be in a bad situation.
That'll be
if
bad.
you fucking
She won't want that.
Don't do it. Yeah. And especially
question.
if you do that and she says no, and then you take it like hard, then you're really in trouble if you take it hard.
That's a bad look.
That's
a
true.
bad look.
Ask yourself this question. And you have to be honest about this. It's am I willing to risk my friendship with this person to date them? Or to phrase it another way, it's like is this person's friendship important enough to me to not jeopardize their day? It's like do you want this person as a friend, or do you really just want to date them and you're kind of just killing time until you can get them to date you?
If you really want to date them and you're just being friends with them in the meantime, like as the stopgap
then just
measure,
go
you
for
should
it.
just go ahead and fuck it up.
The question you gotta
You
ask
just-
is
who
like,
gives a
if they
shit?
were a
Yeah.
dude, would you still be hanging out with them? And if the answer is no, you're fooling yourself.
You just gotta you just gotta pretend to be really totally confident and just be like,
yeah, agreed.
Hey, I want to go out with you. How about that? Huh? What? No? It doesn't matter. I'm just being cool. Whatever, baby. I'm just being cool.
Say exactly that. Write that down and practice it in the mirror.
Hey guys, I'm just
Hey,
cool.
I'm not,
Cool with
I'm not
you
trying to
guys.
be weird here. I'm just being cool. But I thought maybe you and me, just being
Here's
cool.
the thing. Here's the thing. On some level, I think that might actually work. Because humans are very weak and susceptible. And I think that if you insist that you are cool enough, I think that some people will come to believe it.
It's all confidence.
Yeah,
Confidence
If you
is
just repeat.
You need to
if
have
you just
the volume
repeat
as well.
the association. Just repeat the
volume,
association. Me, cool. Wait, what?
Well,
Volume?
Gibbs said have
Well,
volume.
yeah, like-
be assertive
Yeah.
and confident.
Oh, yeah, I
Dominate
thought-
your
it's like me. Cool,
Every time I've
me,
tried to
cool,
be cool
me,
in that-
cool,
in that
and people
way,
will
it-
associate you with coolness.
Yeah, like I've
Like
attempted
it sounds
little
dumb,
things
but
like
like
that.
that's how advertising works.
Yeah.
I've attempted little things like that before, but it has come always down to the fact that I have a small, meek voice, and it doesn't work.
People are really,
no matter what I say.
People, girls,
I have
men.
to be louder in order for people to give a shit.
Some people would find it cheesy and make fun of you, but I guarantee you, at least some people would begin to associate you with.
Well,
being
it was like
cool.
it was
Anyway,
like
I
that
just
time.
think that's
that blessed
interesting.
interaction I had in line to get into like the food court or whatever at college when I was talking to my friends about, I can't remember what it was, something about like, I don't know, I think making out. I think it was unrelated, but like whatever we had said, the guy in front of us in line interpreted it as this, and he's like, turns out, I was like, whoa, you guys do that too? Just go up to girls at parties and ask them to make out? One of them's gonna say yes. And the thing is, he's right.
Well-
the thing is, he's right, and I love that man.
Yeah.
He's a brother.
I mean, the drunk ones probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, what's your goal here? Is your goal just to make out? Like, in that case, sure, go for it. If your goal is to form a relationship, this might not be the best way to do it, or, whatever.
What if you go up to every
Yeah,
girl,
sure.
like asking them to make out, forgetting that you are wearing your Trump hat, and all of them attack you?
They'll say,
Well, at least they're
I'll tell you
touching
what
me.
you
if
do.
I say no,
I'll
are you
tell you
just
what
gonna
you do. You
grab
just
me
go,
by the
hey, baby, I'm
pussy?
just being cool. I'm just being cool.
I'm just being cool. I'm just being cool. You're in New York City walking down a lot of traffic. Hey, I'm being cool here.
Hey, I'm being cool here.
You just turn your cap backwards and they can't see the Make
Yeah, that does
America Great Again. And you're totally cool.
You come out of the voting booth just fresh after voting for Trump in your MAGA hat, and you get mobbed. You get mobbed by SJW
Yep.
cucks, and they're like, "Hey, man, I'm just being cool,
They-
guys. I'm
they-
just trying to be cool."
They
here."
think you're a Trumper seeing the front of your hat, but you just
they tear you limb from limb.
You turn your hat backwards, and it's like, oh, he's just being cool. He's cool. He's
just
this guy.
being
He's in the
cool.
backwards.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what
There's
Trump
the-
himself should do. He should get at a podium.
Libtards hate this one weird old tip to just be cool. Turn
Fucking
around that MAGA
Trump
hat.
should give a speach next time, like the whole nation is mad at him for something that he did. He should just be like, "Hey, I'm just being cool. I don't know. I just try to be cool. Look, America, I'm just trying to be cool here."
Well,
could argue with that?
I like instead of saying I'm trying to be cool, just to say I am being cool. I'm just being cool.
You're right.
Like the,
You're right.
Yeah.
the declaration is part of
Be
why
more
it's so
assertive.
I'm
silly.
just being cool.
Look,
I'm just being
I'm not
cool.
being an
Like, it's
asshole.
obvious, like,
I'm just being cool. It's on the news. It turns out President Trump is cool.
I swear it'll work.
Yeah, at
The
last.
human
He
brain
skates,
is simple enough.
skateboards onto the podium.
I believe that the human brain is simple enough that would work and have its desired effect.
yeah, I think so too.
That's like, I mean,
I'm just being cool.
Did you guys see that guy? There was a Democratic challenger to Ted Cruz in running for Senate during the election, who like Beto O'Rourke. That was him. He literally skateboarded out, I think multiple times, to the podium. I think he's the genesis point of this whole just being cool thing. It didn't work though, and he lost. But
I mean,
he's working on it.
people have been well. It wasn't that.
Yeah,
cool,
it wasn't cool enough.
apparently.
He wasn't wearing a backwards
People
hat.
have been being cool since the beginning of
All
time.
right, let's move on to our next question here. This is from Been There Since Day One. That's the name of this guy. All right, let's see.
Oh, boo-hoo, I'm a Gen 1 PCP watcher and I want the original theme back.
Yeah, me too, dog. Yeah.
welcome to this show. wanna do it.
Is this the same guy who did the Megalovania? Because he's good on piano.
Good. Yeah.
Man,
I don't think
you know,
it could
every
be
once
cool.
in a while, I remember that I put together some fucking dumb piano loop that people cover, and it fills me with the weirdest pride.
It's nice. It's nice.
So you know, I mean, not to poke holes in your story, Mister Been There Since Day One, but like, you know, we didn't have the theme song in the beginning.
Oh Christ!
That was like 50. What was that? Like 50 episodes in that we got that, or
maybe
not that
something
many.
like that. Maybe 20,
20,
50.
30?
I don't know.
Yeah. But whatever.
Well,
I do. Yeah, I don't understand people that whine about the old theme. I mean, I like the old theme song. The new theme song incorporates it. You know, maybe you liked the runner-up better. You know, I'm sorry.
I guess they could just think it straight up just sounds better. I suppose that's fair.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny how divisive. I think maybe that makes me like it more. Just how divisive the.
I kind of agree too.
I will continue to use the runner-up every time I edit.
That's fine. That's fair.
I mean, fair enough.
I am the rebel.
All right.
Join my team. Join my tribe.
Next one. This is from Mookies. Mookies, speak.
Okay, Tom. I know you're there. You're on every single episode. You need the money. I know you're a poor boy. I love you. Now, a long time ago, you promised that you'd be making a Splatoon 2 I Am Games video. Where is it? I need it. Splatoon 2 is the best game on Switch. Mario Odyssey, dog shit. Breath of the Wild, okay.
I believe
Octopath, really fucking fun. Fucking Pokemon Let's Go, meh, probably not worth $60. But fucking Splatoon 2 is the Switch. It is everything. It is the best. I need that video. Make it now. Thank you. Oh, and Gib, if you're there, I'm on your friends list on Pokemon Go, and the nicknames, like the puns you give your Pokemon, your buddy Pokemon, they're funny. I love them, and I love you. Okay, bye.
Whoa.
Oh, thank you.
I have something to say about Pokemon Go. I don't know when else I'll get a chance to say this, but you know who's I'm friends with on Pokemon Go? Is none other than Russell.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he is decked out in Gengar attire.
yeah.
He is all Gengar all the time. He's real fucking scary.
So Tom, how about it?
Yeah, I'll get to it at some point. There was a while when I planned on doing it like months ago, but then they brought Nintendo Switch Online, the online service up, and I didn't have it, so I'm like, well, I can't even play Splatoon 2 anymore. Fuck. But then someone generously gave me access to their family plan thing, so now I have it again. So I have like notes for a script kind of written up. The idea is just like it's the most comfortable multiplayer game ever, and it's not gay, and it's fun, and it doesn't make you feel like shit when you lose, because it's just happy and good, and all the aesthetic and everything. Like the lobby, just like you go and do these fights and everything, and then like you go back to the lobby and everything's kind of chill and everyone's just hanging out. Like all the people you were just fighting just like populate the lobby, and it's like kind of reminds you it's just a game. It's fun. Don't get mad. It's not worth it. Like you don't. It's just better. It's best. It's fun. It's comfy. It's great. And it began and ended multiplayer gaming. Splatoon 2 was the alpha and the omega, and it's great. So there you go. There's a Cliff Notes version, dude. I got you.
I feel you on that. Did you play the DLC?
I do not have the DLC yet.
I just want to go on record. I beat the main game, and I beat the DLC recently, and I beat all 80 levels in the DLC, and I'm on the secret super duper uber final boss, and it's so fucking frustrating. It's a piece. Splatoon kind of has terrible controls, and I kind of hate everything about how you play that game. It was great up to this secret boss, and
Nate,
now it's shit,
your problem is you're
and I'm
playing
mad.
Single player Splatoon 2. Why would you do that?
I've never
touched
I don't
the
even
campaign,
care about the
and I have
multiplayer. Oh my god, no. The campaign is great.
multiplayer.
I love the campaign. I honestly, like, Splatoon is worth it just for the single player, for me, personally.
The single player in Splatoon 1 was pretty fun, but I mean, the game's about the
I don't
multiplayer.
care about, I literally don't care about the
I can't use the ink
multiplayer.
brush in the campaign.
That's so
It gives me
weird.
the guns, and I don't want to use the gun. I want to use the ink brush, because that's fun.
Well, in the DLC,
I want to use the roller.
brush.
Yeah, I want to
The
use the
bucket is
bucket.
great, the
The
slosher.
lore, the song at the end of the fucking DLC when you beat it. I learned, like, okay, I played through the whole game. Like, the main story is about Marie and Callie. You know, Marie's disappeared. I think that's her. I'll
Callie
always forget their
disappeared.
names.
Marie's the one who gives you the missions.
No, Callie disappeared. Yes, that's
I
right.
didn't play this, and I know more than you.
I just forget the names. That's it. But like the new Squid Girls or whatever, the black one and the little one, I forget their fucking name. Pearl and Marina. Yeah. Like you don't know anything about them, but the DLC gives them character and fleshes them out, and I like them now. And they got cool songs, and they're cool guys, and the levels are fun, and it was a real challenge to beat it. And this final fucking boss is just so I hate Splatoon's combat system so much, despite everything I just said. It's shit.
It's a multiplayer game. It's not designed for what you're doing.
I 100% believe everything you just said, but are you telling me that you don't play the multiplayer?
Like, every once in a while I will fire it up for a little bit, but I way disproportionately more enjoyed the single player than I enjoy the multiplayer every once in a while. Incredible. Which is just because I love the single player so much. It's got so much style. It's got so much personality. I mean, that oozes in every facet of Splatoon.
Sure. Splatoon is aesthetically amazing.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is unbelievable. I love it so much.
It's perfect.
It is perfect.
The hip urban youth culture.
I cannot wait to play as Inkling.
The neon colors.
My one upset thing is that Inkling is in Smash, new Smash, but that Octo bitch is not like a not a costume,
like an alternate costume.
Yeah. I mean, they could make it a fucking Echo Fighter, I guess, but just make it a costume. I just want the costume. That's all I care about. Because Octoling Girl is an 8 out of 8, and I love her. Agent 8, that's her name.
Basically the same.
No, her hairstyle being different,
just have different
and
hair.
her different eye
just
makeup
have different
is
hair.
a huge difference. Okay, but anyway.
All right, fine.
Let's move along. I will beat it, though. I will beat that fucking boss. It's a piece of shit, though. All right, next call is from... Oh, wait, you know what? This is from Munchie. It's this guy, enlightened history major, just saying how cool Munchie is for being in history. I'm just going to skip that one since he's not here.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is from... here we go. This is a good one. Homeless ex-PCP fan is calling in to update us on his current situation.
I used to be the biggest fan of the PCP. Every day, I would listen to Digibro's toothless, gummy voice echo from my brain. And when I say fan, I don't mean, triple Joker, LMFAO. No, I was deep into that PCP lore. I was
Triple
here
Joker's
when Conrad
deep.
Collins played the role of Miap on the world-famous web series Inanimate Insanity 2.
You're more just like a Digi, it sounds
like. Yeah. Underrated and, dare I say, rad. Funny joke. But back to my story. I had this internet Discord GF.
Oh, no.
And one day I showed her the PCP. All of it. The entire PCP.
No. Did you tie her up and make her listen?
She DM'd me and said that this podcast is shit and will never be as real or interesting as the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, come on. That's not
fair.
fair.
She broke up with me. Left me for a red-pilled YouTube commentator who makes fun of autistic people for easy money. And that's when I decided to drop out of school and become my own internet personality, my own superhero from the depths of the underground internet scene. And, now I'm homeless.
It didn't work out, I guess.
Jingling change on the sidewalk of Skid Row. And I blame you. This is all your fault. Fuck you.
No. The only response to this is the Pro Crastinators podcast. We're the reason people are dying. Next call.
Right, yeah.
We are. This guy's not long for this world. God, she cut us deep with that. We're not as good as the Joe Rogan
How
Experience.
could we compete with Joe Rogan, goddammit? He's got clout.
I don't know.
He gets interesting guests.
We have too much hair to compete with Joe Rogan, unfortunately.
That's true.
He's too powerful. We can't beat him. We gotta join him.
We gotta get Joe Rogan on the PCP.
Yeah,
clearly.
Can we get? Here's the idea. Okay, Joe Rogan podcast next episode. It's the entirety of the PCP is the one guest. And every word is spoken by a different member in a circular order. That'd be good. Let's make that happen.
Or like the kids from Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh the lovely children from down the lane or whatever.
The delightful children.
Delightful children. God, I loved those. God, that's the best fucking show. Codename Kids Next Door. Literally great. Literal insane pathos and character development. The best.
I I also remember when Digi was on Inanimate Insanity too. What a weird
He's on
time.
those, like, doesn't he still regularly do that voice? I mean, I don't know when they last did it.
Oh,
Well,
not
I
regularly,
haven't
no.
heard about it in forever, but maybe.
He plays like the fucking iMac Pro or something.
I gotta imagine that they
iPad.
wrote like tons and tons of scripts, and he probably recorded lines for way in advance.
Probably.
To the extent that they might still be animating new episodes with like lines that he recorded like who knows how long ago.
Yeah. All right. Well, Joe, I have actually dreamed about Joe Rogan bringing me on the podcast, and I think about that, and I'm like, I am not interesting enough. I have nothing to contribute to be invited on this podcast.
It's kind of funny how like we're focusing on the Joe Rogan aspect of this guy who's
I do listen to him a
homeless
lot
and blaming us.
Oh, I forgot about his whole girlfriend
and his girlfriend
ruined his life.
Not because we were bad, but because we weren't as good as the Joe Rogan experience. Yeah.
Have me on, Joe. We'll make it happen. You know what? This actually makes me actually sad to think that I am not an interesting enough person to be on Joe Rogan's show.
Well, I was just gonna say,
sad.
like, that's a quitter's attitude, and like, why is that
well,
true?
Well,
why do you
here's
think
the thing:
that's
is that
true?
like they had
question.
MKBHD on Joe Rogan, and MKBHD is not exactly an interesting guy. He just like.
Dude, he's got tons to talk about.
He just knows about tech. He's just a tech dude.
No, listen. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing. The people. I don't know what kind of guests.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan or anyone else gets on. Like anyone, right?
Yeah.
Like these people are not inherently more interesting. They do all the same shit as everyone else. They're only interesting because they have clout. Which, let's be honest, is just an accident. It's just an accident of history. They're interesting inherently because of their clout and because people previously know them. It's not that these people have more interesting experiences.
We're gonna try and sweep all this under the rug and be like,
people are
Joe
just more
Rogan,
inherently
whatever.
interested in
Joe
them
Rogan,
by
not a big deal.
circumstance.
It's fine. And then the new episode's gonna come out, and it's gonna be fucking Laserbot on the Joe Rogan Experience, and then it's all gonna fall into place.
Damn it,
Laserbot!
Laserbot!
If Joe Rogan got fucking Laserbot, I would fucking kill myself.
You know,
he's mine. Damn it, he's mine.
You don't want your ceiling to be the H3 podcast. You want to strive for Joe Rogan.
I agree. Which I think we've pretty, this is maybe a little sad as well. I think I've settled into a hierarchy of podcasts in my mind. Number one is Joe Rogan, and then quite a bit down there is the H3 podcast.
I've never listened to Joe Rogan, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
I don't
I'd
know.
recommend it.
My goal is to be on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast.
Now there's a goal. You know what's funny, though? Years ago, my buddy Doug told me about how great the Joe Rogan podcast was. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, who the fuck's that guy? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And now I listen regularly, and I'm a huge fan. I have never once spoken to him about this. I should do that at some point. All right, anyway, let's move on to the...
And he'll probably be like, you're still listening
I move on to the
Joe
H3
Rogan
podcast, bro. I'm moving up in the world.
It's
all about Harmontown now.
Yeah. That's
Bitch.
true. God,
man, these fucking big shot podcasts, they're fucking... I'm so sick of them. No, I'm not. I love them. I love listening to podcasts. I like fucking... I love...
I'm sick of them being
I
bigger
really
than
love
us.
Fat Man on Batman.
That's the only thing I hate about them.
I don't know it.
It's the Kevin Smith podcast.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith's, yeah. I didn't know he was still doing it.
He does it, but now it's a video
about
podcast,
that way
and like he
before.
films it.
Even better.
Way in the past when he had Tara Strong on, and I liked Tara Strong
who had
because
him
of
on?
Twilight Sparkle. No, on the Fat Man on Batman had Tara Strong because she does Batgirl, I think,
and she's also fucking Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's like every female voice.
He does it now. Like they film it in like this special bar with like an audience, so it's like they're standing up with microphones, and it's really, really cool. That's a good thing.
That sounds cool. I should check it out. I just want to say for fun that the reason why this is solidified so much in my mind, it's kind of like an alpha male dominance hierarchy thing that makes me think that Joe Rogan is so much better than H3. Even though H3 is pretty good when I've listened, it's specifically that H3 had Bill Burr on, who's like an equal, a contemporary of Joe Rogan. They're both comedians. And that Bill Burr podcast destroyed Ethan's like status in my mind.
I caught
because he
wind of
just
that.
got so blown over by Bill, who was just so not interested in being there and was just like bulldozing Ethan.
It's so sad.
Okay,
like
I'm sorry,
seeing
I didn't mean to it was sad.
It's sad seeing the difference between like a top comedian and a top fucking YouTube comedian.
It is. It's fascinating. It is fascinating to see that.
I gotta see this. I want to see Ethan squirm. Not that because I hate him, but I've never heard of this.
Yeah, check it out.
Ethan is, I don't mind Ethan or anything, but he is pretty smug. So
yeah,
I think it would be funny.
It's interesting if nothing else.
It always it always weirds me out just to think of like all the comedians are like sort of like they all know each other. Like all the big. Like Joe Rogan and Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle and Mark Maron and like they all are like friends somehow because they've all like intersected in their careers at some point. It's just a weird thing to think how like these like totally different people who are all like huge like A-list comedians and show business guys are all fucking.
I kind of covet that community of theirs. It's pretty fucking cool. And I've thought a little bit about. I mean, I don't know. It's just I've been thinking about like, okay, where does YouTube go eventually? Maybe it goes somewhere great. Maybe YouTube's great forever. The thought has crossed my mind. Maybe one day I could like literally be a comedian. I don't even know if that means like a stand-up comedian. But like something along those lines. I really love to do a stand-up night like you did, Jesse.
Yeah,
and just try it out. Get out there.
I happened to log on to Reddit the other day on the comedy, and someone had posted in the comedy my bit on meeting women that I did.
Dude, no way!
Yeah,
that's dope.
And like I watched it again. I watched it back for the first time in years, and like I was like blown away because like I forgot that I did that and that it was so funny. Like I think back to it, like people tell me it's funny, but like there's no way. Like I didn't have any planned material. I made up the whole bit like sitting in the audience before I came on stage, like ignoring everyone else's bit while I was like writing it in my head in my seat. Like Cody looked over at me and he's like, "Are you like okay? Are you sick?" Because I was like so in my own head, like formulating what I was gonna say for the next 10 minutes. So like I never remember it. I never like think of it as some like great thing that I'm proud of, but like I was watching it the other day because someone had linked it on Reddit and I was like, this is fucking one of the best things I've ever done, and I'm really proud of it. I want so bad to do more of that, and like I want to elevate myself beyond this muck of YouTube because like it really seems like because of a lot of what gets popular on YouTube, and people are wise to the fact that most big YouTubers are kind of talentless narcissists. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I know
what you mean.
But I mean, like, you've got, like your Logan Pauls, like, it's always in the news, and that's what people think of when they think of a YouTuber. So, like, there's this, like, huge YouTuber stigma. Like, even if you're really talented and really funny and really good, if you're doing it on YouTube, people just think less of you. And, like, I think about that guy Jordan Peterson, who's like always in the news and like he's always on everyone's big podcast. He's like a big deal now, and like he's he people take him seriously because he's a psychologist and he's like a doctor. He went to like a real school, but like he's also a YouTuber. So like it really makes you realize that. You have to go do something in the real world in order to carry that clout over to YouTube because YouTube alone has no clout because of the stuff that's risen to the surface on it. So people just like you have to go out and be a real stand-up comedian or or go to college to be a real doctor to be taken seriously as on YouTube at all.
I know what you mean. There's definitely something to that.
If YouTube's all you do, then what is there to you?
And it sucks because like.
Like gross,
and
right?
like it's hard when, because like to think that in a lot of people's minds you're just a YouTuber because YouTube is all you do. But like in my mind, I never think of myself as a YouTuber. I think of myself as like a songwriter and a rapper and a comedian and a director and a fucking this guy and this guy and like all these different things I do. And like where the fuck else am I supposed to post that shit? Like I don't really have much opportunity. To post my work anywhere but YouTube, so I have to live with this fucking YouTube stigma.
Well, it's like the part of the problem is not just that normal people who don't really look at YouTube hear about YouTubers in the news and they have a stigma. It's that YouTubers don't like care about quality in their own community necessarily. Like if you want to get a big podcast, you bring on other YouTubers and other people who are big, not necessarily because you're a big fan of them, but because you need the views and you need to...
because like the primary focus is not to like necessarily like a fucking director, like a Stanley Kubrick, exaggerating example, but whatever. Like his goal is make the best movie possible. The goal of like a YouTuber is play the algorithm the best.
The goal of YouTubers make the most.
Yeah, and that all I'm saying is that's a bad incentive. I don't like that. I don't like it.
If we were incentivized to collaborate between like the best of the best and like quality was like more at the forefront, then YouTubers would like at least within themselves have some sort of clout, and like as more people grow up with YouTube, more people would understand that YouTubers are not inherently, terrible, and the stigma would eventually fade away.
And this goes to Tom's like proposed platform of like you can only post one video per month on that platform, which means it better be the best possible video it can be to, get views and shit.
There's a term that is like that has risen in popularity that everyone uses now that drives me crazy and like makes me like a little bit frustrated every time I hear it, and it's SoundCloud rapper. Because when people talk about like popular rappers or rappers who are, coming up, they always say the term with so much derision, like it's so much lower, like, oh, one of these fucking SoundCloud rappers. Well, what the fuck else is a rapper supposed to do to fucking get his music out there?
Yeah. Where would you put your raps
not everyone is going to have a fucking
friends.
Like a record company behind them. Or like a fucking P. Diddy, like promoting their shit. Like, yes, it should.
I mean, it's the same as YouTube.
How much of this is just
you gotta post it somewhere, and you can't just expect to have like a fucking
is every rapper now gonna be thought of as a SoundCloud rapper and thought of as less?
I guess it's the same. I guess it's the same kind of stigma as like a self-published author.
And now that things are just so granular, and we have so much control at like the low levels, and we don't need like to be either literal the top 10 musicians in the world to like get on a major label. Instead, you just publish and probably can get more like I suppose it's kind of a dream that there's like a middle class of artists that can survive, not necessarily as literally the top, but that because we have access to posting shit on YouTube and SoundCloud and all that stuff, it's kind of created an atmosphere of more,
everybody can get a
not
piece
juvenile,
of the pie.
Amateur.
There's no more gatekeepers. Content just flows.
That's
people will find it, and you can find your own little cult micro audience and subsist off that. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a great thing.
I guess I get why, because that exists. There's been an erosion of like the clout of like any given profession. Because like if you were like a musician, you're like, did you hear the new whoever? They're gonna be like, who? And you're gonna be like, oh, they're like the new one who was fucking signed by P. Diddy or whatever, fucking Motown or something. You're like, oh shit, that's impressive. But you're like, no, it's this guy I'm listening to on SoundCloud. They're like, oh, so that means nothing to me. That means whatever.
I mean, it means more and more.
I guess.
It means like culturally. I think it means more. That means more and more. And like record label is less and less meaningful as like, as the undoing, like the removal of like limiters on.
I think it's all just like creating your own clout, right? Because like I think, for example, Ben, like your work, right? Like you make comics, and that's fucking sick, and you have like physical books and stuff, people can buy them, but like the thing that like I think works in your favor is that like you go to saintcomics.com to read your comics, not go to my Tapastic or I post them on DeviantArt, like that's like different mindsets. But like you can use social media as like an advertising platform essentially to like get the funnel people to like a platform you control. And, like, once you do that, like, the image is all your own.
Yeah.
And, like, it gives you an air of authority to be like, oh, they have a .com. Like, that's, like, their place.
Yeah.
I happened to tune into Market How Do the other day as you were talking about this exact thing, about owning your audience and using social media, not in itself, because I don't want my main platform, like a lot of people's main platform for their art and stuff is like their Tumblr, and like I don't want my main platform to be my Tumblr. I want to have my website that's got my shit on it. Will fewer people find it there? Yeah, sure, but like the people that are gonna only look at it on Tumblr, they can see it on Tumblr or I almost said Tinder, but Twitter or whatever. But the people who want to follow the links and like go and find my actual website where I do have full control over the experience and all that. And I do think it gives it an air of like, I own this. This is mine. I made not only the content but the platform you're viewing it on.
It makes it feel more legitimate. Like I have in the past said, I have a comic friend who makes comics. You go to saintcomics.com, and then they've gone on Reddit, and it was like
pretty great.
The experience of going to a tailor-made like specific site is so much nicer than going to a social media platform where you may or may not have an account. And it's
reading someone's comic on Tumblr is like, it's annoying because you usually have to read it backwards.
You have to add in hyperlinks for the buttons, and it never works very well, and Tumblr just sucks. This is something why I'm kind of interested, like why I'm personally big on this like whole Web 3.0 thing that me and Digi keep talking about, because like I want the pendulum to shift back towards people making their own websites, because I think the internet's just more interesting that way, because like everything's a new experience. And with it was interesting, I was talking to Munchie about this, and he didn't understand what Web 3.0, like what we were talking about, until I explained it to him. Like, there's no servers, it's all peer-to-peer. So like you just make an HTML file, and instead of having to go to Bluehost and pay X $100, it just hosts on your own local system. So like that financial cost of having to host a website is gone. So then like it's still harder than social, but like you don't have to like pay a year up front of hosting space and keep paying every year. It's just like a torrent, and it just runs on your computer. And I think that's super powerful and really interesting.
You know, if I could bring up just one more facet, I was just thinking about this. I'm thinking about the experience of being a YouTuber, to kind of go back to that side of things. And I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's that, so maybe I've been a little bit charmed by listening to so much Joe Rogan. He has a lot of comedians, and they like talk about their experiences, and it sounds really nice. Because as a YouTuber, even working towards being more of a YouTuber and putting more videos out, it's real. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, but I do actually kind of feel like a whore.
You are.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a degree. Because, like, here I am. I'm selling, like, my inner self to a degree, you know? And, like, when I think about, like podcasts are definitely, there's an element of that there. There's an element of that there for sure. Like, Weagawa, again, there's an element of that there. And I compare that to, like a practiced routine of a stand-up comic. Like, yes, you're going there, you're, like, doing your thing. But what you're actually selling is, like, it's a product. It's not literally like your soul being like removed from it. It's something that you've prepared to distribute, as opposed to like being like a daily vlogger and like to turn your whole life into that. I want a big thick old wall between me and like the people who I, sell content to, essentially. And because I really don't want to have that kind of barrier be like thin. I like having my life, my private shit going on. And it does make me a little uncomfortable sometimes, exposing a lot of my inner self.
It sucks
online.
That you really can't have that wall as much as you want. Like, you have to have a Patreon, and in order to sell the Patreon, you have to have a Discord server. And in order,
how different are we from like, I don't know, like Instagram thoughts or whatever, who are selling their like private Snapchats? Like in their case, they're selling like literal pictures of their bodies. At least they're not selling their like inner thoughts. They get to keep that shit private. And I'm just saying that's a different sort of feeling, but there's probably something enjoyable about that. Now, I'm not trying to like exaggerate and be like, oh my God, woe is me, this is so terrible. It's just a vague sense that I've been having, and I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell.
And sub for sub.
And sub for sub. But I'm not, only you sub. Let's sub for sub, but like the part where only you subscribe. Let's do that. That sounds good.
That's right. That's the way to do it. Now, that's the way to sub for sub.
Are we done?
We got one more question real quick.
We are going in towards the 3 hours.
All right.
Now.
Let's listen to our last question here, and we will wrap it up. So this is from Bad Rap Joe. Give it to us. SoundCloud
Supreme.
Hero. Here you go.
Hey, yo, it's me, the biggest piece of shit you ever did see. Open your mouth and let me take a pee. Don't worry about the charge, it's for free. I like to stick my fingers in my ass just for fun. So you better run, cause I'm about to paint walls with my cum. Push my prostate with my thumb. Boom. Bow. Cause I'm the king. Fuck with me and I'll knock you out the ring, and I don't play fair. Kick you in the nuts and pull out your hair. Shut on your chest without a care. Maul you like a bear, so you better beware. Cause I swear you'll be worse for the wear. And I take it down to my lair and tear off your skin and begin to touch myself. Rip off your fingers, put them on my shelf.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Donkey Kong reboot so far.
Yeah. Oh,
the new rap is on point.
That was a great follow-up to that whole discussion we just had.
Yeah, it was. This guy's selling his innermost.
He really is. That was wonderful, Bad Rap Joe.
What a note to end the podcast.
I think there's no need for comment. Let's just end it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us this week on the Procrastinators podcast. Head on over to patreon.com/theprocrastinators, where there will be a new episode, I think tomorrow, from when this episode is posted. So,
the bonus episode? Right. I worked all night making the bonus episode look great, and I have much more to do. It is going to be so sick.
Well, damn, I'm fucking excited now. So Ben's editing it. It's going to have good art. Yeah. It's a whole big thing that we did. Get ready for it, people. It's a whole big thing. Production that we did. It's not ASMR episode or
This is the opposite of the usual thing with the bonus episode is let's see how we can ruin this episode on purpose. This time we actually said, what if we tried making it good?
Basically, so if you want to experience that novelty,
so we're trying something new.
Get in there.
Quality.
Follow us at TPCrastinators on Twitter. Oh, and you got to give $5 for the bonus episodes on the Patreon, FYI, and $1 for the chat. Oh, it's fine. Give us money, please. And that's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Fun.
And of course, the SpeakPipe link, if you want to leave us a voicemail, down in the description below. But it's speakpipe.com/
PCP voicemail.
I care. It's in the fucking description. I forget.
PCP voicemail.
That's the one. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week with another one. Bonus episode. Enjoy if you're a good boy. Hello and
goodbye.
And goodbye. Thanks for listening. Later.